set up things. Woo! Yay! All right. Session 13, Gormundel. Hopefully. But what happened last time?
Alright, so as far as I remember, we finally made it back to Nesme, and kind of got didn't get any kind of hero's welcome like we expected. Maybe a little bit, but there was lots of running around trying to find reagents, looking for horses that got sold off in our absence since we'd been gone. Was it a month or so?
Mm-hmm.
Met with the priest in the temple. Found out a little bit about where we had seen. Before that we had done a crystal ball gazing and seen that the bandits were back in action again, and we sort of could see where they were, but weren't really sure. But I think the priest kind of gave us an idea of where a better place to look for them, so we decided we were going to head south to try to stop them from getting this caravan. And then Callista happened. She almost got us all arrested, or at least herself hung, for threatening the caravan equipper. Yeah. And I think we left off there. We had finally, thank goodness, Ulrich was able to talk our way out of it, and we got our horses, and we were just getting the hell out of there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff, but...
Like how you shook down that poor dwarf?
Oh, yeah, we basically pawned all of our possessions for the horses, and Ulrich and I shook down a dwarf. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, and Welkin also bought a ring. Or, well, a pearl, really.
Oh, yeah, the pearl for his lovely lady.
Yeah. Anything else?
I really don't remember. I know that we were in and out of inns. That's about all I remember. If anybody else has anything to fill in.
Not anybody?
We identified a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. With the pearl. Dave, you want to add anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Did you get that we scried on the guy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, scried on him, like ushering some or writing down some new orders and walking through like a cavern complex, but who knows where that might be. So, yeah. Okay. Then, all right, I know why. Try now. Yeah, in that case, I think like I have the same ending point with you guys, basically giving over the money to the town's guard and making your way off with your new saddled, new found or refound horses. And on your way south down the River Sebren, into the direction of Tribor or Jatar, somewhere there in that direction, right? Okay. So
we're probably going to follow the river since that's the easiest. That's the road. And if we want to find this sorcerer, that's where we likely find him, if he's in these rocks, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say let's follow whatever would be a trade route. I'm assuming there's some kind of established road that the caravans are coming along. You have to have a pretty good road for caravans to drag along.
Would go south to Yartar, and then
if you're on boats, yes, yes, very much so. Most of the travel possibly will be handled by a boat at some point, right? Because it's a lot easier to especially downwards.
Yeah, like barges or something.
Yeah, and upwards you usually use an ox or so to carry you upwards, right, as well. But you can carry a lot more cargo that way.
Well, the water flows this way, I would assume, towards the sea, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're
Coming.
going downriver.
Yeah, you're going downriver.
So
So
if they're coming this way, they'd be hauling on the land, I'd imagine.
yeah, but you like the last you knew that there was a group of dwarfs that came through with some weaponry and what did I say? Some luxurious goods that you possibly identified as um, a
Mithril
suspect
Hollow.
target. Yeah,
Yeah.
as a suspect target mentioned in the orders earlier. So it might be the dwarf caravan, might be something that comes upstream, which, as I said, like upstream might be by river, which is pulled by like an ass or an ox or something, right? But might also be via actual wagon. So yeah, you are sitting on your horses. You have everyone got a horse?
Everyone except
I
Ace.
don't.
Yeah, he didn't get a horse.
Yes. So everybody sits on a horse, and Tastos didn't. But
Correct.
all right, so you are like a little bit outside, away from the trading company. They really didn't like you there anymore. So, but yes, you're basically still in the front of the gates. So then we can basically start there here, I guess.
So, you'll keep with us on foot? Or do some
Something like that.
Uh, I won't even bother to ask. Anything else you need before we head south then?
Let's
Well,
go.
Yes, that answers my question.
I'm done with this place anyway.
Yeah, we just need to get out of here. She's gonna get us killed if we stay. So
Shooting a look over to Imli. Psh, they had it coming.
We should come back later, burn the entire town to the ground.
don't give her any ideas.
I think
Don't
even
give
she
me
would
any
know I was
ideas.
joking.
Would she? All right. So you make off.
Yeah.
What time is it? It was evening, right? So there's not much,
Yeah.
but
By the way, one thing I need to, which I made a mistake last week. It was summer, not winter. That was a mistake. It's still summer, although it's cold since you're so far north. It's not winter. Winter would be very cold here, right? Just
no.
yes. I just want to reiterate that since I made that mistake last week.
All right. I guess we'll head on our way and try to find a proper place to rest. I mean, we're not very tired, and there's still a long journey, so not like we need to camp immediately, but hey.
Okay, so you start basically. So you start walking into the alongside the river. In that case, like following the trail that
Yes.
kind of follows the river. All right. Okay, so yeah, you basically give your horses and Hastos kind of walks with you, and about 10 minutes or so. What happens?
Once out of sight of the place, Hasto says something in Elven, and his body glows blue, and he turns into a spirit-looking owl, and he just starts flying above you.
You know, no matter how many times I see that, it doesn't stop being weird.
Blasted elves.
You know I can shit on you from up here, right?
Don't get it in his eyes. He's already got problems with those.
Yeah, try to aim for his mouth.
I mean, Imli turned
It's
into a
worse.
dragon. I could swallow that, but this.
I wish I could turn into
Yeah.
a dragon. That'd be pretty cool.
Dragons are always naked. Don't do that.
By the way, No dragonborn boobs. All right. Lizard don't have boobs. Just saying. That's one of the reasons why the picture looks as is, right? That's just stupid. All right. So, what's next? You want to follow the trail? You want to do anything else?
I mean, if there's an obvious road that caravans would come along, I'd say let's stick to that because.
Yes.
But can we see would we see the river from it? I mean, I'm assuming it would go along the river because that's usually an open area.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, like there's little, like Longsaddle to Nesme is not necessarily the main trading route. It usually goes over to Yatar or directly to Tribord, depending on how which medium you use to travel. But as you just said, due to the direction and just like it's easy to follow a river as well. Just like guide the river if you know it leads there, right? The trade route pretty much clings to the direction of the river. Severin. Mm-hmm.
I'll just keep an eye out for trouble, and since we're looking for, I think we're too far north, right, for his area of operations. But if you can see any signs of a local ambush or something, like a broken caravan or what else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys saw him when he went out, in the end, before the spell was pulled. You saw him, or at least you saw him in some mountainous or cavernous complex, which would make it pretty hard to be in plains. So he would be somewhere in the eastern or southern, from your point of view.
I'm not looking
western.
for his place. I'm looking for signs. Like if he's sending out Jason, I think was his name, the new raid leader. Raid, they could have set up camp somewhere nearby, right? Waiting
absolutely,
That's what I'm looking for.
But I think they're kind of like a 2 days ride from where we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we did keep an eye out for like smoke or tracks or.
Yes. So it really depends how fast you want to go, depending on how. Like if you want to just ride, normal riding speed isn't actually much faster than walking speed. It's just more comfortable, right?
I was under the impression that we had to move pretty fast.
Yeah, to try and catch up to that caravan that left.
Because they were attacking in 2 days when we saw the vision, so we need to book it. So let's ride as fast as we can without completely breaking the horses.
There's not much time left in the day, so might as well.
Okay. So
yeah,
at least
we might even push through the night since the horses are fresh. You know, not like
We're
hard
assuming-
ride through the night, but.
yeah, I mean, if you want to ride through the night, it would be pretty. Like the horses would not want to go as fast since they are blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like
Let's
you know.
not.
Right. But you can certainly do, and maybe if someone leads you, who can actually see in the dark, and just like one thing that often gets forgotten, darks, or is it how is it called? Dark side, or it used to be infravision, so it's also always infravision in my mind, but I think it's dark side or something like that, right?
Dark vision.
Dark vision, yes. Dark vision doesn't give you perfect sight if it's pitch black.
Yes,
If there's a moon around, I mean, usually it's fine. But if it's pitch black, you still can't see very well. You
Do we have any kind of moon or starlight or?
Let's see. Yeah, it's a pretty clear a night. There's some clouds around, but not very many. And the moon isn't at its fullest, but about halfway there. So it shines a steady, light that somehow works.
All right.
Pretty much, yeah.
So put one elf in up front, one elf in back, and I'll take.
I mean, you have an owl.
Yeah, I mean that's what I
like,
mean. He's the other elf. Like put.
They can be in front. He's like the invisible one. Let him go in front.
I mean, but he cannot help you really if he's up there until he does.
No,
something.
but he can keep an eye on stuff as we move.
Absolutely.
And warn us, hopefully, if he's nice enough to do so.
Absolutely. And I think owls have dark vision as well, right?
I
mean-
think so too. I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah, they have dark vision, and I think it's double of what normal creatures
Yeah,
do.
I'm pretty sure they do. They're night hunters after all, so it would make sense. Okay, so yeah, so you want to really go with your horses for at least the next, since it's summer. So to contrast what I said last week, the sun stays up quite long. So you would be able to, like, let's say like it's maybe 6 at this point. So I'll say that you have like a 3 to maybe 4 hours before it goes really dark.
Yeah, let's
Right, so
move as
9 to
fast
10.
as we can, while we can.
Should be able to make halfway, maybe, if we're lucky. And then maybe tomorrow we can reach our point where we think he is, the wizard. And then we can go slower and look for him. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, my dark vision is double.
Absolutely. So yeah, you want to, where do you? Well, I assume Calista rides in front, which makes sense for you to guide you where you ride. But when it gets dark, you need to kind of at least go to normal riding speed, right?
Mm.
In which direction do you want to specifically take a look, or just like all around?
Since I know they're coming from the mountains, I'm gonna keep an eye on the on the mountains or on a cavern. I'm gonna keep an eye on the right, so I don't think there's any cavern to the side that has the swamp, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the road actually goes on the side away from the swamp, since
Yeah.
swamp not so fun most of the time, right?
The only thing we have to fear from the left would be lizard men, and I'm not too worried about that at the moment.
Famous last words.
Hey, we're on horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, wolves like horses. Anything that likes meat likes horses.
All right. So you make your way towards the south and do pretty well. I mean, you have a clear path you can follow. You have light for the majority of the evening, and yeah, you quickly come to the fork where the two rivers kind of meet and to form the river Serber, and that then trails down further south alongside the Avamos. And yeah, you can make a little bit more, but it's already getting dark. You're lucky that actually the hills further in the west from where you are not very high, so it's not like just like it will crest over the mountaintops. So yeah, it lights you for like another hour or so until you basically start to get really now in dark territory after about 3.5 hours.
I think we should push on through the night.
I disagree.
I mean, at a slow pace, but
We're just gonna tire ourselves out, and we're not gonna see. Like you can, I think you can see in the dark. I can't.
I
Emily
can't see in the dark.
can
But-
with her stone thing if she has it. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, but the thing about traveling speed is, I mean, if you ride, you're pretty far. You just see as far as you ride in a few seconds. So
I think it's best we stop and leave early morning.
yeah, and on your travels thus far, you were really like riding the horses. You're not just like sprinting with them, because even horses can take that for several hours, but going
At a reasonable
fast.
pace.
Yeah, really, really fast with them. So
Yeah, we gotta rest the horses a little, or they're gonna break. The horses aren't like cars where you just go.
your guys' horses aren't like cars where you just go.
No, no horse can keep going forever. They're not automatons.
Well, I understand that. I mean, we have to take breaks every couple hours, but either way, whatever. If you guys want to wait, that's fine.
okay.
I think it's the safest option.
So you slow down your traveling speed and search for some or place where you can rest. When you get to an inn that is here, which was like actually like 10 minutes earlier, you saw, and this is something Ulrich you know already, that the inn was abandoned. It was one of the buildings that you took a look at, which was abandoned, with just like little signs of fight, um, but no people around, right? If you remember.
When they were on their way here.
Yeah, they were when they were coming up, when they went south up to the area where River Sebring is on the map, so like at the outskirts of the Evermoors. When they came across any like farmsteads or so, there was not much like living like in people, right? Most of them were really like empty, although it looked recent. hmm So let me see.
Well, if we see that, we can take one of those. They'll probably make proper shelter.
Yeah,
Also, may try
absolutely.
to find out what's going on or what happened. Probably bandits, but
Absolutely. You wanna head back, or you want to search for the next one? You don't necessarily know when the next one would be, where the next one would come up. So at that case, you would be like basically here at this point, which is just after, right? Usually like a day's travel, a fast pace day's travel usually is like 30 miles,
mm,
and
okay.
but you're on horses, but you just took like 4 hours or so. So you're like you really like the horses are not super fun at this point.
Well, if Ulrich doesn't think there's anyone nearby, I suggest we go back. Now we use pushing through the darkness in that case.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last part you said there.
If you don't think there's any more of these ruins to the front, right, like the abandoned inn or the abandoned farmsteads, if you don't know them or you don't remember, I think we stay here. Just 5 or 10 minutes back.
No, I don't remember anything other than... I mean, there were some abandoned villages. I don't believe there was anything terribly close to the road. I don't
Yeah, I
recall.
mean
It's
there's
been a long
some
time.
there's some inns like you would know that there's some inns around, and maybe there's a way that leads a little bit like into a nicer place. But usually the villages would either stick very close to be like a trading hub, or they would go a little bit further in to then maybe get more like farming lands, right? Specifically in the area where it's green, like yeah, at this place it's like mostly farming areas.
I say we go back. I win by single unanimous vote.
Well, I mean, I could set up a tiny hut and it would just be just as good.
Yeah, the
But
horses
even
would
with a
still, although need to stay
source,
Yeah,
outside,
the
right?
horses, yeah.
but
We
even
can
with a
just
sorcerer, I don't trust.
sleep on the side of the road.
Yeah. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with good defensible positions. I'd say it's worth a few minutes we waste.
Just make sure it's not going to collapse on our heads or anything.
We can check
Or
that when we're there.
already occupied. Just make sure.
Besides, I don't think your head will be as useful if we do come across the sorcerer. Hopefully, we'll stay to his lair. Hopefully.
So
I don't think they
what'll it
venture
be?
this far south, but if you feel more comfortable, then that's okay.
Yeah, I don't care. We can go back. We can stay here.
I mean, it was just like it's really basically it was getting dark, and like, oh yeah, that was one of the places, but you were really like still like not undecided on what you want to do really when it gets dark, right? Obviously. So you kept going. I mean, it's really just like maybe at this point maybe 10 minutes back, as the horses have now slowed down.
Sure, so what does Emily prefer?
She's indifferent. She'll go back, but she wants to make sure it's clear.
Does Astos have any decision?
No, I don't care as long as we rest.
Y'all?
I won't do
Perfect
any
guy.
decisions with a PC like this.
Okay, we go back.
All right. So you turn around your horses, and it takes you, as I said, like 10 minutes or so, with normal pace, right? Not with the extreme riding pace. 10 minutes or so to get back there, and you see it's an inn. It really looks like your regular wooden inn, and when you get there, you don't hear any people. You don't see any movement. Don't see any horses outside or caravan wagons or whatever.
Get off the horse regardless, and probably tie him somewhere. And
Yeah.
I'll go check.
I mean, the
what's
stables
on.
are still there. It's not burnt down or anything. It looks actually pretty in good.
I mean, if the stables are big enough, I'd probably sleep in there to keep a watch on the horses so nothing steals them or eats them in the night.
I don't expect much trouble, but there could be some creature in there, so might as well leave the horse outside. Good.
Absolutely. I mean, this is like you have what four horses. You would have absolutely enough space to not sleep under a horse and like.
I'll sleep up in the hayloft or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So you basically put your horses around, like tie them to these beams, and give them some hay from the hayloft or something, and give them some of the water that is easily procured by you from the nearby river. So no trouble. Takes you maybe like half an hour to really like unsettle them and go through the chores, really, right?
I cautiously check the inn, make sure it's stable and there's nothing inside.
Yeah, when you get inside, it's cool. It's cold. Doesn't seem to have had any fire lit recently, and it's completely like cooled out at this point. Although you do not see any signs of fight here, there's no one inside, and also the valuables have been moved away since, which is, Ulrich, different from when you were last here. Right? Or maybe not this specific one, maybe not, you're not quite sure, but the last time you went into, like, it was a farm, actually, right? The most of the stuff was still there. This tavern or inn has been cleaned out.
Yeah.
But you were here, or you went this way up like 2 months or something ago, right? So.
Yeah, bandits. Perhaps those bandits fleeing south. Nothing to be worried about.
Everything to be worried about, I'd say. Are there any signs of battle outside or nearby? Like.
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
All right.
Yeah, you start to look around a little bit. I mean, there are your trails. They're also at this point from your way. You went up and down. There's some trails in both directions from perhaps caravans or something like that. But you can't quite make out if someone came in here. And when you take a look at the backyard, if there were signs of battle, maybe you don't see them because of the low light, which makes it extremely hard for you to see. Or there are none.
Well, it's been a long time. Rain could have.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Go back inside, break some tables or whatever, make some small fires so we don't freeze, and get ready to camp.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a hearth, right? There's a fireplace, so
Yeah,
you
that's
could
what I
easily
expected.
you could easily make some fire. Which then kind of heats up. So the fire is actually, as usual, there are two fireplaces. There's one fireplace in the kitchen, which is adjacent to the back of the bar, which would then also warm up the building, and the other one is towards the stable, so the stable gets some like passive heating from through the wall as well, because like heat is a commodity, really, right? Especially so far up the north. So you could light up either place.
Might as well go for the one next to the stables. It's all the same, really. This place is empty, so.
Absolutely. So you light that fire, and this is a fairly spacious room. So the room doesn't really heat up as fast, but around the fire, pardon me. But around the fire, it gets cozy, well, as you would expect, really. So Emily, you stay with the horses, correct?
Yeah, I think she'd probably be happier sleeping in like the loft above the horses in the hayloft.
Yeah, I mean you are used to far worse weather, so you wouldn't have and you will get some passive heating, as I mentioned earlier, but you would be okay either way, really, right?
Yeah, and if there's hay up there, she'd burrow down into it.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's some left. Okay, so Callista would set herself like behind some of the windows that are not broken. Most of them are still intact, and kind of look towards the way and see if anybody's coming or something is happening outside in front of the inn. Which now also, like you would see from outside the fire, obviously, right? So if you get fairly close. So Welkin, Hastos, Ulrich?
I'm gonna get ready to sleep. I'm not sure what the guard rotation will be. Astos and
Yes, like
Calista can probably take care more of
yeah,
stuff.
they could switch, right? One would Hastos, one would Callista, so that would set up really like the whole night. If you want to rest like 8-10 hours or something until you get going again.
As soon as daylight breaks.
Yeah, it would be like about maybe 8 hours from now, maybe 9.
Sure. And
so you settle down for a good night's sleep?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. And Hazel?
Well, I guess Hastos will take the first watch.
All right.
So he'll sit on the steps. He'll sit on the steps of the inn. Yeah, smoking his pipe out there, just keeping a watch.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could speak with this obviously about both Callista, and she's absolutely fine with that. Yeah. And anything else?
Not for me, no.
Okay, so you basically like get ready for like a long night, smoking some of your pipe weed and relaxing. All right, and Ulrich?
Ulrich just sets up kind of near the door, or if there's a big hole in the wall, the nearest entryway, slumps against the wall and falls asleep.
All right. You're still donning or keeping your armor on, or are you done?
Yes.
Then please, you will need to give me a Constitution save. But yeah, night comes, and Hastos during your shift, nothing happens. You hear and see some wildlife like fluttering about, maybe an owl, maybe some hares like skittering by. You hear the Cerberin in the back kind of squashing, and also the Evermoors. You hear like sounds from the swamps further south, really, from where you are at this point. But no one comes and interrupts you.
Yep, and then when I'm done, I'll wake Callista and I'll go into my trance.
All right, yeah. So you usually wake her, and she kind of keeps the place she was sitting, looking outside, and like cozying down for the night, really, and waiting for you guys to wake up. So the night passes, and yeah, Indy, you kind of start to read your book a little bit in the morning, kind of read up of some of the spells, maybe kind of edit a little bit in your book that you recently acquired. Um, and a little bit before the first daylight reaches you, Callista would then wake you up, at least, well, everyone except Emily, because she's in another room. So, Ulrich, welcome. And Hastos as well, right? So yeah, Ulrich, when you wake up, you're stiff a little bit from sleeping in your armor, especially not in a bed. That makes it like not very comfortable. But yeah, when you wake up, you kind of had not a good night's sleep, but a night's sleep. So you're okay.
Yep.
So yeah, so you wake up and go outside. Looks the same thing as you left it, I think, right? And
There's no vegetation around for the horses to eat, right? Nothing to worry about. Because I
yeah,
think we didn't
absolutely.
buy any feed.
Absolutely. Now, you put hay in there, like from up from the hayloft for them to eat. But there's also like shrubbery and grasses if you would want to let them free. But I assumed that you kind of took them into the stables to keep them together, not
Sure.
wander around.
But when we take breaks during the day's travel, might work out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
Alright.
in the greens, as long as you're not in the hills, it's super easy to find anything to eat for them. And only the hills would probably not make much of a difference anyway. As long as you're not in the swamps or like mountains or deserts and stuff like that, right? All right, yeah. So you resettle your horses and basically finish with that as the sun now crests over the swamps to your east and reaches you.
Alright, I suggest now we keep going south and keep an eye open, especially on the east bank. Make sure we don't see any traces or spot any traces of foul play.
I agree. I say we set a brisk pace.
So what does a brisk pace mean? Just like fast?
Kind of fast. Cautiously fast.
I think the fastest we can go is normal? Or let me check. Maybe.
I mean, on foot, you can make about 20 or so miles a day, right? On foot. With like resting, eating something, maybe looking around for something to eat, something to drink. Well, drinking is really easy in your case. But that like 20 miles or so would be okay, like normal on foot. You're not on foot, so you can make it a little bit like faster. And if you want to really kick the horses, you would be able to make like maybe 40, 45. And if you really want to run them down, you can make 60, but maybe after a day or maybe two, then they're like done for, right?
Mm.
But if you really want to,
I suggest we go normal and keep an eye out.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably go faster, but I do have to be for myself to do that.
Okay. So you start kind of moving further south. And as you kind of travel alongside the Cerberine River, it kind of bends, and you're really getting close towards the Evermoors. And in the later afternoon, you basically, it's just like the river, and on one side the Evermoors, with just a really brief stretch of land, and you're on the other side. And Hastus, you're still traveling in your spiritual owl thing?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, in your early afternoon, after you made camp for midday, you would be the first then to see that there's some smoke from up ahead. Got it.
Can I tell what kind of smoke? Like campfire smoke or brush fire smoke or?
It's not brush fire smoke, but it's not campfire smoke either. It's a little bit more than that, but it's not like burning woods or burning. It's not like California, right?
Shit's
was
on
Jen's fault.
fire.
Sorry, can you go
I'm
again?
gonna fly up ahead.
All right. So you coast up ahead, and the rest would easily see this as soon as you kind of start to move a little bit. But they cannot see it because of the height and your specific very good vision, right? So yeah, you coast a little bit up ahead, and you can see that the fire seems to come from the way from up ahead, from the road that you travel. You could still keep going ahead. It's still fairly wide, fairly far away. Like I'd say maybe, I don't know, 700 meters. I have no clue how much that is. Like maybe 800 yards or something, I think.
I'm gonna continue ahead,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna fly up a little higher.
All right, so you coast up a little bit higher, but still keep going in a quick pace there, and yeah, your friends start to lose you a little bit in the range. If you're not really kicking it when you see him going, I don't know what you want to do.
No, I think
we
we're
don't
just
see the
going.
fire.
So-
We're gonna keep going until we see the smoke.
All right, so you go up higher in the air and taking a look, and you see that it looks like down there's two wagons maybe down there, like pushed over on the side. You see some humanoid figures on the ground lying, and one of the wagons seems to kindle and burn a little bit, but it has like it's not burning anymore, right? It's just like smoking.
Do I see anything moving?
Give me a perception check.
Oh wait, Al.
Yeah, you have advantage, I think, for side checks.
Yes, I do. Yes. +3.
By the way, Nathan, you can edit your thing and add the one that was missing on your sheet, right?
Yeah, I figured it out. I actually meant to do that. I will do it now.
Just came up because like, you're talking about checks. So yeah, give me a check. All right. So you take a look down there, and you're fairly high. You really want to stay clear from any like potential foes. So it's not super easy. You do not see any movement from first glance. But you see some tracks, some wheel tracks leading off into the brush to the side, and actually into the direction from the river.
Okay, I am going to zoom
And
down.
at that point, the rest of you would start seeing the trails of smoke up in the air from the direction where Hastings kind of flew and you are traveling.
Tell everyone to slow down and kind of spread out as we still approach at a slower rate.
So
More
into the
cautious.
brushes with the horses?
Not
I mean, there's not a gardener around, so even there are not woods around, right? But even just like grasses grow like about whatever, I don't know, 3.5 feet
we'll
high.
just spread across the road.
All right.
All right, so Hasto zooms down.
Okay, so you go lower for lower flyby to get more
Oh
detail.
yeah, probably about 20 feet off the ground.
Well, that's pretty low. Yeah.
Circle around for a little bit to make sure I don't see anything moving.
Okay. Yeah. As you go down, you still cannot see anything moving, and you circle around, nothing moving. You see that you see that the humanoids that they are dead, and they seem to be a mixture of dwarves and humans. And the wounds, from what you can tell, just like circling around, since the others have slowed down, will take some time to catch up. Seem to be arrows, bolts, some burning, and cuts from maybe axes or swords or something like that.
All right. Well, once I circle like 2 or 3 times and I'm sure nothing's around, I land.
Yeah.
And as I land, I revert back to my elven form.
Okay.
And then I will go to the closest dwarf and check. Make sure he is dead. See what I see.
Okay. Give me medicine. Okay. Yeah, but you go over to the first dwarf, and he has some like blue with reds mixed as some sort of uniform. There's like some sort of armor below it, some chainmail. But the chainmail is ripped apart in several places from piercing wounds of swords, maybe axes. And you can tell he's been dead for a day, half, maybe a little bit less. So fairly fresh.
Okay. The wagons. Are there horses attached to them? Are they gone?
There's one. There are two wagons. One of them still has a horse attached. However, the horse is missing its head, cleaved away by like some heavy-edged weapon, two-handed weapon, maybe an axe, a great axe, or a long two-handed sword or something. The other one has no steed in front of it. Maybe it got away. Maybe someone took it. Both of them are toppled over, and one of them, as I said, seemed to have caught fire by something. You don't see any torches or any others like obvious sign of source of the fire.
Okay, I'm gonna use some dirt and put the fire out.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, the fire has already gone out. It was just like the rest really trailing. But you can put some dirt through the last like modes of glimmer in there, kind of just put it out, no problem. And with that, the rest kind of would crest over like the high point of the road, and then basically see you amidst this field of carnage. So altogether, there are about 4 dwarves, and then there are like 3 humans you see. And I want to mention again, you see like some trails going into the brush towards the direction of the river, and like you can see this was also made by the wagon wheels, kind of.
Towards the direction of the river?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. I look around, check around, see what did this. I suspect we know what it was, but just make sure there was no magic or anything.
Yeah, I mean, you see the same thing. I won't really repeat what I just said.
But I'm telling someone else, right? I'm not experiencing magic. I'm gonna follow those tracks that go towards the river. I'm thinking they sank in one of the wagons in the river by mistake, or maybe they were assaulted while they were going down the road. Probably they killed the first horse, this is what I'm guessing, and the others went out of control. One of them went into the river. That's my guess.
Perhaps.
Gonna see if it is
more likely that the bandits dragged their loot to the river.
Why would they drag it to the river unless they can swim across with it?
Perhaps their base is there? Perhaps they did not need to swim across, they just needed to travel down the bank?
A wagon doesn't float.
Well, let us find out what happened. Hastos sits next to... He goes down, crosses his legs, and sits next to one of the dwarfs.
The corpses?
Yeah, the corpse. He starts chanting something in Elven and...
All right, so that's...
Just...
Let me see, how many? 5. All right. Okay, so you guys see him sitting down, putting out some herbs, starting to burn them, starting to, like, with a stick, push some... Right, dwarves. Right. Got it. That's so sad. Is it +1?
No, that's for others.
All right. So writing something, some magic circles, magic signs like Elvish in the ground, and as he kind of burns the incense, the eyes of the dwarf kind of go open. It's like.
I looked to Callista, I looked to Emily. Does this remind you of a certain gnome?
So, what do you want to ask?
Hastos tells him, "Tell me exactly what transpired here."
We were attacked by an old man.
Go on.
Yeah, I'm thinking what I want to say. It was over as it begun. The sky darkened, and I died. And the eyes close, and it falls back onto the ground. With the head falls back onto the ground.
Hastos breaks his trance, stands up, dusts himself off. They were attacked by an old man with magic.
Sounds like the guy we're looking for.
Well, that answers my question. So he was here, but he didn't leave any trace of his passage. Illusion, transmutation.
Oh,
The
was
sky darkened, and they died quickly.
Sky darkened. Some kind of blindness?
Well, remember that pillar of death that we found when we were in the trade hall?
I like how you put it. That we found.
Well, they
That's
found
good.
us. Yeah. You remember that, right? The whole like skin turning to like mummy.
Well, he was killed by sword blows. I don't
Mhm.
think that's how the traders died. They look like shriveled mummies.
Yeah, again, like different wounds. Some died by arrows.
Mm.
You see some arrows also sticking in the caravan wagons.
Any
Sometimes.
dry dilapidated corpses?
Yeah, do any of them look like necrotic damaged corpses? Like,
No.
I mean, I would. No.
No. You see them by arrows, axe, sword, and fire.
Yeah, I think this is our quarry. It seems they did the same as usual. Old man distracts them somehow. The bandits attack from the side, and it is over.
Indeed.
Now let me check what's here, and I'll continue follow the tracks all the way to the river
Mhm.
and see.
How far away is the river? Is it like 10 minutes? A day?
60 feet.
Oh, okay, perfect.
And you hear him. It's just like not always visible, right?
Sure. How fast is the river flowing around here?
It changes due to this, like the width of it. Like
Sure.
if it gets smaller, it goes faster. But it's not rushing, but it's also not just like slowly.
Sure.
It's something in between.
Okay, when I reach the riverbank, the tracks go into the river?
Yeah. So is anybody following him? Someone looking into another direction, searching more about the caravan.
I'd poke around the caravan looking to see
Yeah.
if there's anything left behind.
Ulrich would dismount and kind of pick over the human bodies and look through the carts and stuff.
All right. So Callista would like ride like 30 or so feet ahead and take like a vantage point to take a look around. So in that case, Vulcan would be the only one, correct?
Hastos is going over the dwarfs.
I do leave the horse behind because I don't think the horse can get.
Yeah, it could get there, but I mean,
Probably best.
you would obviously be more visible. Okay, so yeah, it's super easy to follow the tracks. Really, just like you see, have these two kind of kind of missing trails of grass, which you can easily follow, right? So absolutely easy. As you kind of go over like a very, very small like incline, it's immediately obvious what happened, at least what is now, which is like the caravan, the wagon kind of went there, and kind of it seems to then try to maybe turn around and fallen over. You see that there's two things of very much of interest. First one is you see that at this point, a really, really big snake is eating the horse. So, but what I mean by really, really big is the head of this snake is nearly the size of the horse.
Great.
And you see the body of the snake, which is also like in where the kind of the radius, the diameter of the main parts of the body is maybe 5, 6, maybe 7 feet. So this is like as big as you are. But you see it kind of curl down into the river, and you don't know how long this thing is. And it's just like biting into the horse and kind of starting to swallow it. Holy.
Crouch down, take a few steps into the shrub. I'm not going to interrupt its meal. I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give me a stealth check.
It's here.
Okay. Yeah. As you see this, you kind of just fall onto your chest and kind of be very quiet for a moment. And the beast is absolutely focused on eating this thing.
Before I leave, since I won't want to disturb it at the moment, I'm thinking as soon as it's finished eating, it's gonna leave, and that's when we can come back. Is there anything else of note? You mentioned 2 things. Besides
So you see, well, the horse right now
being eaten
for some more time, and you see that the load that was on the wagon has clearly been spilled into the water. But some parts of it are still on land. Like it looked like it tried to like run down the hill, and then maybe the horse saw, oh shit, there's a river, don't like river, and tried to turn around. But due to the motion and the wagon and the weight of the wagon, kind of maybe toppled over. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense with my story, which is this guy probably saw more of what's going on, tried to dodge the bandits, but went the wrong side.
Yeah, and you absolutely see nobody there.
All right. Well, it could have fallen into the river. It could have been taken by the bandits. A lot of things could have happened. I don't think I can see any blood, but I'm also too far away, so I can't even return.
Yeah, you are keeping it really low right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it really low and kind of move back, and when I'm a safe distance, kind of get back up and go back to the others and tell them that there's a freaking giant snake over there and don't go over there.
Yeah, like big, right?
Sting a horse, mate.
What else is over there?
The wagon. It seems I was right. They tried to run, but, well, ran into the river, the horse or the ox. Got scared, toppled the caravan over. There's still some valuables. I didn't see the corpse. He could have been alive. He could have gotten killed. Didn't get close enough. The snake.
But what happened to the driver?
Like I said, I didn't see a corpse. I didn't see blood because I didn't get any close enough. Could have
And
died,
also,
washed away.
also, just to reiterate, you were looking at the wheels of the wagon, right? So you were coming from the direction and it toppled over. So it basically might be on the other side of the wagon. You didn't really have a full view of it, right?
I'm not gonna go into the water with that thing in there, right?
No, probably not. I'm just saying that you didn't see everything that perhaps possibly was.
I'm sure I didn't, but I'm not gonna look now.
Well, let's go check it out. There could be clues there.
Go right ahead. There's a giant snake.
It's just a snake.
Its body is thicker than a tree trunk. I'll pass.
Hazel's just going to start walking over there.
Absolutely. Imli, you said you wanted to take a look around.
Yeah, I'd poke around through the wagons and see if there's anything of interest.
Yeah, and I'm
Imagine
the
not,
wagons
but-
and you said there were 2 wagons on the road plus the one down by the river.
Yes.
Okay.
You two can give me an investigation. So when you kind of take a look.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. So when you kind of start to look around, you can Ulrich kind of quickly kind of turns over to Welkin to see what he has to see, and you're a little bit disgruntled by the dwarves. Really don't want to search through their belongings. Imli, you also start to take a look around, and from what you can gather, can you read Dwarvish?
No, I cannot.
Okay. Yeah, when you kind of look around, you find some of the dwarves have some signs, some runes, perhaps on their clothing. As I said, like the one that got asked earlier, he still had his armor under his clothing, but the armor was badly ripped apart by weapons. Others don't have armor on, so they're just basically lying there half naked. And
So they got stripped? Like someone stripped them?
yeah.
Nice.
And so that's that. You find the same kind of wound marks, and the humans also have been stripped. None of them have any boots, and most of them also don't wear any armor. If they wear any armor, it's really badly like cleaved apart or burned away or any other like really combat related damage. And one of the human corpses is someone you knew from Nesmi, not by name, but you saw him when you first went there, like a few weeks back. You kind of saw him uh, in the city, and this one is like a very very gaunt, malnourished kind of individual.
Was he like one of the people that we saved, or was he just like a random like?
Yeah, like a
guy?
bystander. You saw when you went in there. If you remember the scene when the kind of elvish kid came up to you, at that scene you saw him. So he's a human. He's not an elf, but he was like somewhere in the crowd. You kind of remember him. Like, yeah, that's someone from Nesmi.
So I'll go over to the other guys and say, looks like whoever attacked these people was really thorough. They took pretty much everything of value. They even stripped some of the bodies, like disrobed, and took things. So they were.
Yeah, and you're now at this point. You also know that it is true what they say about dwarves.
She's not going to mention that. She's like,
That they're dirty, dishonest, conniving creatures?
Yes, you found that from the corpses.
Yeah, the stripped corpses.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering, like, were some of them women and they had beards? You can only tell with their clothes off.
Were you looking specifically?
No, not really, but
No, they were male dwarves. Mm-hmm. One of them actually had like a finer kept beard, and you saw that it was like braided, and he has like a hole in his earlobes.
So it looks like they even picked them clean of their jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, yeah, they were out looking for making a profit here, I guess. Looking to take anything of value. And a couple of the guys are definitely from Nesmi, so this caravan was traveling from the city. Or I would assume, anyway.
Well, nothing out of the ordinary there. Some of you should go check on Ulrich. On
So,
Jesus.
while you speak about this, Hastos, you kind of
Yes.
crest. You want to just go there?
Yeah, I'm going over there.
Not stealthily at all.
No.
All right. So yeah, you kind of crest the same hill, following the tracks that was walked by Welkin a little bit earlier.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, when you take a look around, you also see the snake. At this point, you just see the two hind legs out of its mouth and this enormous bulge at the back of its head, basically where the body of the horse is, right? And you hear like a snap a little bit before you went over there, and you still see I don't know what you call them. It's not reins, but how you bind the horse to the
saddle.
No, they have some stuff on their body to be bound to the wagon. I'm not sure how
Harness.
Harness? Is it
or
harness?
traces.
All right. Yeah, there's that kind of moving about from the sides of the wagon, which maybe snapped when it was eaten. But it's there. It kind of like you see one of its eyes kind of look into your direction, but it's still like in the process of eating this thing. And you can give me a nature check if you maybe get a little bit more information. Yeah, you see the same thing, like enormously big, right? I mean, there's now a horse in the front of its body, and you also see the main part of the body is, as I said, like 6-7-ish feet diameter, not radius, diameter, and an extremely long body that you don't know how long it is, since like parts of it are still submerged in the water underneath the surface. It's not attacking you right now, as I said.
Yeah, Hasto stops for a minute just to admire the beast. And then I'm going to watch it out of the corner of my eye, but I'm going to walk down towards the scattered goods on the floor and stuff and check them out.
Okay, I'll just share on my second thing here. Yeah, that's stupid. Give me a second. And just really sketch what you're seeing, right? So basically, maybe the river flows down here in that direction, right? And you're coming from this direction, okay?
Mhm.
And the wagon is like this, and the snake is kind of going into the water, and you don't know how long it is. And here was the horse, right? And the wagon, the goods are kind of, you see them kind of going when there, basically, right? And here's this little hill or whatever. So right, you see what I'm saying here? Like if you want to go
I
there,
got it.
you get fairly close to this really big snake. All right. So yeah, you want to continue? I mean, you obviously super can. Like the snake isn't necessarily aggressive at this point, but
What I am going to do is head towards the wagon. I am not rushing or looking in a threatening manner. I am nonchalantly going over there, slowly.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. So what do you do next? What's happening here? So the rest of you come up and you see like Hestos slowly approaching, like paying attention, but like approaching further. And then what do you do? I do save.
yeah, oh, you saved. Okay.
So what does the rest see? Still doing it, right? So hello.
I think he got.
You're asking the rest, right?
No, I asked
no.
you what they see.
Well, they see Hasto standing not too far away from the snake, and he doesn't look scared or anything. He's just staring at it.
Yeah, and then you see him kind of waving his hands, and like a green mist kind of puffs up for a second, but the snake doesn't really seem to be too much interested in him at this point. And like at this point, it also has like completely swallowed this horse. And now, obviously, Imli and Ulrich, you two, as well, see the size that he was talking about. Gallisto still stayed back a little bit to keep the horses together, make sure they're not running off or something.
I'm going to stand there and wait a minute. He just ate. He might just slither back in the water.
Yeah, so you stay out of range, immediate
Yes.
range, but
Out of immediate range, yeah. If he's coming for me, I'll know it and can do something before he does.
absolutely. Well, there's an N missing, but ignore that, right? Okay, so yes, the answer is yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so what's the rest doing? Well, you see Hastos kind of being fairly close, but not approaching further.
I don't know if he has balls or he likes brains.
I don't know anything about snakes, so Emily would stay away from it since it's big and would
What's the
possibly.
closest thing to a lizard we have?
Ulrich's actually looking around the raided caravan, looking
So you
for
go
like,
back.
yeah, he doesn't care. I'm looking for like drag marks or any signs of people because they had to haul the loot away. So I'm looking for that type of stuff.
Yeah, you can give me an investigation as well. Actually, you already did. Never mind. You already did an investigation. Yeah, you didn't find any tracks.
Right. Okay. Well, that's what Ulrich's doing.
Yeah, I mean, you already wrote earlier, right? Investigating the scene.
Yep.
I just keep watching in case I have to save Astos.
Yeah, it takes about 5 minutes or so. The snake kind of looks at you, Hastos, but really seem disinterested by you, and kind of turns around. And as it turns around, it starts to lift its head over the wagon, and when it lifts its head, this becomes really imposing because it lifts its head like about 20, 22 feet up into the air when it kind of just turns over and goes back into the river, and you see it then kind of start to snake out at the other side of the river and heading to the Evermoors. Now, everybody of you sees how long this thing is at this point, and you would estimate this is at least like 80 feet long.
Alright, you can shoot the bottom and keep away from the end. It's perfect.
But yeah, like it kind of turned around and then continues to snail snake slowly its way and head off into the swamps.
And at that point, Hastos will start going through the caravan.
Absolutely. So when you get around the corner and take a look into the area which you didn't see before, you still do not find any guard or humanoid or retainer, whatever. No person here. You find some of the wares. Obviously, most of them have been swallowed away by the river. Maybe some you find at the very edge of the river, slowly like drifting downwards with the stream. And the stuff you find here is weaponry. There are a few maces, very well crafted. You find a few swords, shields, spears, primarily spears and halberds, though. But you're not quite sure from where they come from. You're not super familiar with the prime and who produces what kind. But you can clearly see that they are good quality.
Okay, that's it. It was only weapons. That's all this was hauling.
Seems, at least, maybe if there was anything else, maybe it's being picked away or drowned in the river. So, Imli, welcome. What are you doing?
I'm gonna approach. I don't care. I'm gonna look at the top. There was a rider. I wanna find out what happened to him. Like, did he fall into the water? Do I see tracks of him crawling himself back?
Absolutely. So when you get to the bank, to the seat, you see that there are 2 arrows lodged into the wood. You can also give me an investigation.
No blood on the arrows, though.
No blood on the arrows, no.
Okay, so they missed the mark. Investigation.
Okay. Yeah, you start to look around, and the very, very obvious thing is the huge imprint that is in front of it from the snake that just left. Other than that, you do not find any tracks of the of any footprints immediately around. Um, the only thing that you find is where maybe something heavy hit, a trunk, maybe some sags that were carrying with the armor. Maybe a person might be as well, but you're not sure.
Mhm.
As you're not sure that maybe it was a human or a dwarf, so it's really hard to tell. You just can clearly make out that something heavy fell at the other side, which you didn't see before, towards the river.
Right. I'll start making my way there. I'll have to cross the river, right?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
It just like is in between the wagon and the river.
Oh, okay.
There's something there fell. The river itself, the river is like 18, 25 feet wide. So like something falling over to the other side is hard, right?
I go over there, make notes of my own tracks, ASTOS, and see if I can find anything of something getting up and walking away or something.
Yeah, as I said, yeah. Aside from your tracks, no tracks around.
While you're doing that, Hastos is looking at you and he kind of figures what you're doing. And he says, I wouldn't bother looking. He was probably the appetizer.
Emily?
I don't know. I'd maybe see if I could figure out, like, in my investigations of the bodies, did I see any, like, sign of where any attackers might have come from or gone?
Absolutely. You saw a lot of footprints. A lot of footprints of a short but fierce fight. Different size. You saw dwarven footprints, you saw human footprints, and you saw a lot more human footprints. Might be humans, might be orcs, might be lizard men who are wearing boots. But like heavier build, right? That's what I'm getting here. You found a lot of those, and from what you can tell, they came from the west. So deeper from the grasslands. From Europe, like a really good, right? From you, like maybe you followed one of these tracks and you basically found like knocked over, not knocked over, like
broken grass and stuff.
yeah,
or
grass
twigs
where
and
something
bushes
was maybe lying someone, like a group. You would estimate. It's really hard to estimate the exact number, but somewhere between 10 and 15, maybe 20, but that would be unlikely. But probably outnumbering, depending on how many they took maybe captive, probably outnumbering the ones they attacked.
So I would call anybody that's nearby over and point this out, that
Yeah.
figured out where they came from.
But then you kind of turned around to see what Welkin was talking about, a snake or something. So you didn't really inquire further. Investigate further.
If he was an appetizer for the snake, not much we can do for him. He could have been alive, could have just been knocked out, but... Well, if there's no obvious tracks, yeah, appetizer for the snake.
If there are, you didn't find them.
Alright, I'm gonna head back to the rest.
Okay.
Hastos will follow him.
Okay.
In this time, I assume Oric would have gotten bored after not finding anything, and
I mean, you were searching, right? But didn't find
yeah.
it. Yeah.
In the wagon, what type of weapons are there?
None. All picked clean.
No, I thought the wagon by the river.
Yeah, you didn't know. You don't know. You didn't
No,
know.
okay, Ulrich goes there.
Okay, yeah, when you go there, you come across Welcome and Hastus who are coming your way right at this point. And you could just ask them as well.
Yeah.
If you want to ask.
What we saw, which let me know.
Okay.
No need to repeat, I think you remember.
Does he? Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I remember. Ulrich's just gonna grab a long sword if there is one.
Okay. So you go down.
Yep.
You would realize these are dwarven forged weapons.
Yeah, figured. Not any better than the elven crap that he's carrying around, but
Yeah,
Still.
the elvish are like they have those flourishes, as I mentioned, right? The dwarven is just a straight edge, really.
right. Yeah, he's gonna grab a longsword if there is one.
Absolutely. You can also give me an intelligence check with disadvantage, though.
All right, here we go.
Believe.
Heart of the cards.
All right, now, yeah, it's a dwarven sword.
This sword, pointy.
No, it was something else, really.
I-
But
Just
yeah,
checking.
really, it was unlikely that you would specifically remember that, but there was a possibility, right? So.
Nope, perfect. So, yeah, just take a longsword.
Absolutely, yeah, take a longsword. It's just a regular longsword. However, you can mark it down as dwarven, just like so we know.
Cool.
But
Yep.
stats-wise.
Yep.
All right, yeah. So done.
Right. Once we regroup, the tracks that Emily saw went into the shrubbery, right?
Mhm.
So I suggest one of us keeps the horses on road. At least we can go
Yeah,
mounted.
Callista is having the horses covered right now.
Alright.
She took the reins and kind of put them a little bit, like went a little bit into the brushes and gave them something to eat, waiting for you guys to finish your investigation.
She can keep track of them and then try to follow us, or
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
depends on how far it is.
I mean, she waits for information you guys can give her and then follow, basically.
Before
with
that,
what
I'm
you
gonna pick up on the tracks. I wanna find out follow them for a while, probably 5 minutes or so, and see if they coalesce with anyone else, how many there were.
Yeah, you can easily, like, if Emily points it out, you can easily find the place where they were hiding. You can give them an investigation there. With advantage, I think. And tell me what you rolled.
Investigation?
Yes.
10 if you said advantage, otherwise 10.
With advantage, yes.
Then 15.
All right. Yeah, you come to similar conclusions than Emily, that it would be like maybe a dozen, maybe 16 or so. Different people, all of fairly strong build. You probably humans, perhaps orcs, but something around that. Really, that's pretty clear. You see that there's a few arrows still stuck in the grass, and it's easy to overlook the road when you stand up. Really, right? They were laying down, and you see that there's some very 4 or so arrows still stuck in the ground there. 15. Yeah, you also find some tracks. They lead further down away from the road, and then bend and take a turn southwards.
Alright, I think we found our ticket. Although, I'm not sure if the horses can follow it, at least we'll be going on foot if I want to follow them, so the horses will be carried behind. And that's what I tell the rest. I think I can find them from this.
The horses should be able to follow through some shrubland.
I shrug. Depends on how harsh it gets. For the moment, probably.
I think they'll be fine. Mine will be fine.
Alright, anything else you need to do in this place in that case?
Nope.
I wish you could give the dead a proper burial, but if they have taken prisoners, I think they take precedence. Most we can do is probably put them by the side and burn the corpses.
You don't know if they took prisoners, right? That's not.
Yeah, we don't
obvious.
know, right?
Yeah. Actually, that's a good thought. Auric would.
But I mean, I'm going by previous expedition. They had at least 40 people prisoners, right? I'm assuming who survived the attack was taken prisoner.
Auric would take the human bodies and drag them off to the side of the road, and just kind of lay them side by side and kneel over each, and say a prayer for each of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I would assume that maybe that is the reason why you were bogged down by your investigation, that you kind of this took this was more important than actually taking closer look around. So yeah, you see him like taking the humans, putting them next to the road, and starting to sanctify them, giving them their rights.
Yep.
Okay.
I bring the dwarves and give
Haste
them
will do the
towards-
same with the dwarfs.
Sure, I help Aestos and give them the words to the dwarves prayer.
Any of you two speaking Dwarvish?
I do.
All right. You find some of the ones that are still wearing like armor and clothing. Some of them have like some runes on them, which would put them to a clan. You wouldn't have heard of clans so far in the north, however, so you're not sure if this, like what this clan is about. But they're, I think they are Hornwoods, yeah, from the Hornwood clan. But as I said, like this,
Yeah, I
like
wouldn't
you're like super far away usually, so.
Yeah, what I know from Dwarven is from scriptures, basically. Many old scriptures are in Dwarven, I assume, not Elven. So I had to learn it. So don't know the clan, but if I meet them, I'll keep an eye out. What was the name so I can write
Hornwood.
it down? Hornwood. Alright. After that is done, ready?
Yep.
Yep. Let's go.
Alright.
Can't
I'm
do
always
anything
ready.
more here.
I take the lead and
All right.
follow
So-
the tracks.
so you-
Probably 50.
So everybody gets on their horse again.
No, I can't. I don't. Can we follow these easily while on a horse?
Absolutely. Horses are used to live on like
No, but
grasslands.
can we keep the tracks, like not lose them while on horseback?
bit harder, perhaps.
I'm gonna go
We
on
could
foot.
just lead the horses.
No, we can carry them, but we can carry them not on our backs,
Carry
but
the
we can pull
horses.
them. You
Holy
can
shit.
pull.
I'm not carrying a horse.
Calista isn't either.
You can pull them behind you as.
Yeah, lead them.
Or you can go riding. I just go on foot because I'm more
Okay.
used to it.
So,
Decent job.
Jesus, would you then ride the spare horse, or do you want to?
No, I want to walk.
Okay. So yeah, then I guess Welkin leads his horse behind him, and the rest kind of steps on them again, and kind of lead down, following the trail. So the trail, as I said, like it leads a parallel to the direction you were going on the way, and after about 80, 90 feet maybe, it kind of bends, turns to the road, and goes onto the road, and yeah.
Oh, alright. Then I'll probably follow by horse. I'll keep my eye on the east bank, and I'll travel to that side, and I'll try to see when they leave. At this case, it's probably best to remount.
When they
and just-
leave, who leaves?
The tracks that we're following, they'll probably turn back to the east bank.
Yeah, as I said. No. As I said, they were lying there. Then it goes a little bit further away, then parallel for like a fairly good while, and then turn its way back and onto the road again.
Yeah, we're gonna follow the road south, but I'm expecting them to turn eastward again onto
Okay.
the wilderness at some
Okay,
point.
so you're taking a look.
I'm gonna keep an eye out for-
Absolutely. So you're taking a look out for basically like tracks that leading into the
At this point, we can go on ours. Doesn't matter since.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot harder to track like tracks on actual
road.
on roads that is traveled, right? Like individual tracks. All right. So yeah, this took you like some time to investigate. Bury. Like, did you burn them or just sanctify them, or bury them? What did you do with the?
Dwarfs were buried back in the earth where they belong.
Okay, so this would have taken you like a fairly long time in that case.
Yeah, no, or I would say that we probably don't want to be burying them. That takes too long.
And Hastos just ignores you.
All right, well, if you're burying the dwarves, then Ulrich would bury the humans as well. If we're taking
Okay.
the time to do it, then
Okay, so burying like 7 people with 3. Guess that takes you like an hour and a half, maybe. You don't really have like very good equipment to actually dig, or do you?
Not that I know, not unless there was some there. I mean, we can use like a bent halberd or something to help, but nothing too
Yeah,
great.
but that's not proper equipment.
No.
That's what I'm saying. So
Unless they
that's
have shovel weapons.
yeah. Yeah, so you start digging, and it takes you like some time. But when you get I mean, you can make past. Like takes, as I said, takes you like an hour and a half. It was already it was already afternoon. So when you finish, it would be like 6 maybe.
Mm.
And those of you who did it would be like a little bit exhausted because of the tedious, frustrating work. Frustrating because of the equipment. Yeah, but yeah.
Alright, let's head off in that case.
Okay. So you would reckon like you have like an hour and a half until sun would leave you, and but yeah, you start moving further down the road. Anything? What? How fast do you want to go?
Normal, since I want to know when they leave.
Can you repeat the first word you said?
Normal.
Normal. All right. So yeah, it takes you about 2 hours, and so please give me a perception check.
Not sure what this is for.
Okay. Yeah, you start heading down, taking a look out specifically to the east, as you said. And what's the rest doing in the meantime? Asus, you could walk with them, but it would be like a hurried pace, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
All right. Um. Okay. So yeah, you start moving further. Anything that you want to do while you are, except, okay.
Nope.
Okay, so you start heading further south. 2 hours, like an hour and a half, as I said, like pass by without any obvious tracks leading into the um, plains towards the east. Also, you come across like an hour later, closely before the sun completely sets, you come across like a farmstead. Um, that would be the thing you would see towards the east. You also start to see like some more hills further on the horizon, especially specifically west. So you have like a half an hour left on your daytime when you come across this farmstead, like 2 buildings, a little bit to the side of the road.
Could stop here or could keep following into the night. At this point, I'm not against either.
I say we keep following.
It's gonna be harder to track them in the night, but
Yeah,
it'll
we
be
might
pretty
not.
hard after a day.
I have faith in you.
We might not have another safe location to rest either.
Yeah, if we're going, we'll probably have to go the whole way. But we may catch them during the night when they'll be asleep. Could be useful. Alright, if that's the plan, then we can keep going.
Okay, so yeah, you travel for another half an hour without anything happening specifically. And the sun, at this point, has set upon the now very noticeable hills towards the direct west of you. Yeah.
Right, if we're gonna keep following, I'll have to make some light, make us visible like them fireflies, but
Yeah, we may want to not approach in the dark if they can see it. You know,
do you have any other idea? Can you do it?
stop if we think we're getting close.
That was what we should have done in that case half an hour ago, not at this point.
I don't need a roof over my head to sleep. I don't know what your hang-ups are about.
Right.
You know how humans are.
So
So-
now you want to stop.
You want to stop? You want to keep going?
I think we can keep going. I could make some light. When we find the tracks leading off, I can dim it. They probably don't have a direct vision to the road, I'm hoping. That would be bad.
I think we should keep going. If they find us, good. Then our goal is achieved. We don't even
Not
know
us.
if they're anywhere nearby.
You know they outnumber us greatly. It's not great if they
If
find
they're up
us.
in the hills, they'll have the advantage of cover and height. So.
Okay. So you continue going now at a slow pace, I assume, because otherwise you would get
Yeah,
severe
we'll leave the
disadvantage.
horse, basically.
Even
I'm
even with light, you would get severe disadvantages if you want to move like normally,
Mm.
right? Because you
gonna
really
go on foot.
can take a look. Okay. Give me a survival check, please.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you continue for another half an hour, seemingly no one there really to find. And you as you crawl or slowly move forward. Another half an hour passes. It's like maybe the moon is pretty high at this point, 10 or so o'clock. Nothing really obvious. Everybody can give me a perception check. Okay. As you move further and following Wagon's lead, who is like specifically looking to find any straws of grass that have been maybe turned around, any tracks leading off or onto the road from the east, not finding anything. Ulrich, you kind of maybe you think you saw something a little bit to the east, west from you, maybe quickly hushed light, maybe something reflecting from the moonlight, some sort of light source, a little bit westward from you, maybe 80 feet away or so.
Ulrich immediately brings it to everyone's attention. He says, "Over there, some blurry light source far off in the distance. I can't tell what it is."
Yeah, maybe 60 feet away. You just barely saw it, really.
Yeah, he just immediately brings it to everyone else's attention.
Mm-hmm.
I take the small coin that I was using as light, and I put it in my mouth, so my mouth is slightly alight, but otherwise...
Yeah, it tastes horrible.
But
But
it's
yeah.
a light coin! It's all the good things!
Yeah, it's a metal coin. I mean, you can, if you want, you can eat a metal coin right now. It tastes.
No thanks, it's
I-
been
I-
into many hands.
I give him a hard pat on the back and say, "Good job."
Yeah. But like there was just the flash of light, which basically Ulrich you just could see as the edge of your vision, and perhaps because the rest is dark, like completely pitch black, that's the reason why you saw it. You don't even see anything else, but when you point in the direction, the rest of you can see that there's maybe like in the moonlight, specifically the elves would see like that there's some like shrubbery and brush a little bit on from a vantage point.
And, well, I get down and I tie the horse somewhere.
Yeah, and as you get down, everybody now would hear hoof prints.
Prince.
Hoof falls, not prints, hoof falls. Like, right?
Snorts, horse snorts.
Not snorts. Falling hooves
Oh,
going onto the ground.
I quickly hide in some strawberry, get my sword and shield ready.
Yeah, they're clearly getting further away though.
Oh. they saw us. They're gonna report back. Take the coin out.
I mean, you had light in your hand in an otherwise dark area, right? So if they were watching, they like super saw you.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they mistook us as travelers, but I don't think we
Yeah.
pass as great travelers.
Like a dragonborn, two elves, a knight in somewhat not shining black armor, and you like up ahead on the ground, basically looking around with light in the night.
Sounds
I mean,
perfect.
it's your call if that's travelers.
Hey, they could have 6 intelligence.
Absolutely.
Great. So, what's the new plan?
We go after them. Or we could continue following these tracks and see where they lead. Perhaps there's another entrance. Perhaps that light source and those sounds were not the people we seek.
We're best following them if we're going after them, but they'll all be waiting for this. I suggest we
Let
go
them wait.
after them, find their nests, and wait for a better opportunity to strike.
And what
Don't
about
just
these
strike
tracks? Do you believe these tracks to be a false?
No,
falsehood?
but those are fresher.
But they lead in different directions.
Oh, they coalesce the same.
I thought one was like off to the west and one was.
No, that was my mistake. You saw the light in the east, and you heard the hoof falls from there as well.
Okay.
I mean, you
Well,
couldn't
then
see further past. I mean, obviously, Ulrich, you probably don't have an idea where west or north is because you cannot see the sky,
Alright.
right? And you
It's
cannot,
blurry.
and you
It's just
cannot
very
see, and you cannot see any landmarks as well, which would give you like very much away, right? So,
Yeah.
But the rest obviously could see or hear the rest.
Well, there's
So
no
you
point in
stand,
hiding.
you stand there, discuss what to do.
We're not going after them right now. We don't want them to know where if we follow them.
Okay.
So, I suggest we do find out where they're hiding.
This is perfect. And as you stay there, this is so bullshit. All right, Hestos,
Yeah.
you kind of see like clouds coming from the east and starting to push themselves over the moon. And you can give me a nature check. I'll just make you roll a nature check because you're not specifically from here before, but yeah, those are rain clouds.
Okay.
Coming from the east.
It's gonna rain. Is it unnatural rain clouds or normal rain clouds or?
No. I mean, it's super hard to see since it's like dark. Might be unnatural, but it's not necessarily anything that would give it away than just clouds.
All right.
It's like 10 in the evening, so it's dark. You just see them like pushing in front and kind of get this like feeling because you're like somewhat in tune.
All right.
Emily, you can mention that.
If he didn't mention the clouds, Emily wouldn't think to mention that. So I don't know if he mentioned the clouds.
He just said it. He just said it like a minute ago. Oh,
Oh.
there's gonna be rain.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Okay, well then I hope it's not like the clouds that killed the dwarves. that dwarf.
I'm not staying on the road to find out. I'm gonna go stealthily to where they were, the guys that were watching us were hiding. I'm gonna leave my horse here tied to somewhere.
Mhm.
Not really too worried if he runs off at the moment.
Yeah, Calista just takes it.
Yeah, sure. And like I said, I'm gonna take an arc, so I don't want to approach the obvious path, but I want to see what how many there were, what they were doing. I want to go to where they were, find out what exactly was going on.
Mhm. Yeah, give me a stealth check. What's the rest doing? staying on the road.
Making myself. I would probably like move, look for cover.
Okay.
I don't like try to.
So you're going on the far side of the road.
Maybe, yeah. Just since if he saw somebody, I would want to position myself to not be shot full of arrows or whatever.
Yeah.
Or be first attacked.
Yeah, so you would go into the far side of the road from where Welkin is heading. Okay, rest
Hastos would go into the brush.
with Welkin.
No, like not next to Emily, but her direction.
All right.
Welkin, your intention is to scout?
Yeah, he's going in trying to hide, yes.
Okay, yeah, Auric will follow Welkin then.
Okay, give me a stat check.
Clunk, clunk, clunk.
Do you have a disadvantage from heavy armor?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Welkin, you're trying to hide, and you hear like the heavy footfalls of Ulrich coming behind you, and maybe he breaks through the underbrush, and you hear him like breathing pretty heavily. Very, very clearly, he's not hiding very well.
Obviously. I take a wider berth.
Yeah, I just meant in the same direction as Welkin. I'm not like, Auric's not trying to hide. Auric's still staying mounted.
Oh, okay.
Unless
Then
we're-
there's no stealth check. Okay, then I stop just and hide and
Not-
see what happens.
Yeah, not for Auric. Auric has no intention of hiding. For
Okay,
sure.
misunderstanding on my part in that case. My bad.
So, well,
Yeah, so you're right.
Say
You
it.
slowly saunter up to where you saw the light.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the direction Welkin is going, Auric would kind
Yeah,
of.
he was not going directly that direction, but like, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Auric's not going to like charge off away from the group. He's just.
As I said, like you start to saunter in that direction, trying to figure out what's happening there. And as you do, you quickly lose Welkin. It's really hard to see him, see here right now anyway. But yeah, you kind of move over to the direction, and Welkin, you said you stay and take a look what happens, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ulrich, you kind of crest up to the vantage point, and you see that there's been like. You can give me an insight check. You can give me an investigation check with disadvantage, since it's really hard for you to see. But from what you can tell, immediately when you get up there's some sort of camp. You see like a burned out fireplace. You see when you get close to it, you see that there's been water pushed onto the fire. Not too long ago, maybe an hour and a half ago or something. However, not just immediately right now. It's not right. So then you find that there are like 3 sleeping, not bags, but like
Just like blankets, just like traveling blankets.
more like places where the grass has been like
Oh, okay.
pulled over, and maybe you see like a blanket there still, but the rest is over. And over the fire, you see like there's a tripod with like an old not bucket. What is it?
Pot.
Pot.
Kettle.
Yeah, old kettle pot hanging there, and there's something inside it. Some sort of chunky liquid.
Chunky liquid.
Auric would hop down off of his horse and taste what was in the kettle.
Yeah, doesn't taste really great, but it's not bad either. Like it's some roots, some meat of some sort of creature. I'm not quite sure what it is. Some sort of carrots, potato or two.
Yeah. And no signs of any life anywhere nearby. I mean, that Ulrich can see.
No, you would see that there are horse footprints leaving away, two sets.
Which, and this is going to get a little confusing. Are they leading like away in the opposite direction of where the party is relative? Or?
Yes.
Okay, in the exact opposite. Okay.
Yes, further westwards.
And Auric doesn't hear anything in that direction?
Not at this point, no.
Alright. Auric's just going to like take the kettle, It's like a travel kettle, right? Like so reasonably sized.
Like a little bit smaller than half a basketball.
Yeah. So he's just gonna pick it up and hook it onto. He's gonna take like a big spoonful of it because he's got like a mess kit. He pulls out his spoon from his saddle bag and like starts eating it and hooks it to the horse's saddle, and then hops back up and starts riding back towards the party.
Okay.
And when he gets back, he says, "Well, they left their food, at least, but they certainly left in a hurry."
Like I said, they'll know about us if we don't catch them, and I don't think we can.
At this point, they have been gone like 6-7 minutes.
Yeah. We could have ridden after them, but we didn't know if there were more. I'm not gonna risk it, honestly.
No, absolutely. But like if you like
Sure.
tally around, they obviously get a hard start.
If I was an elf, I'd risk it, but no.
Emily's
can
just
only-
kind of nervously watching this guy at this point.
Yeah.
Because we're around eating bad guys' lunches.
He offers some to everyone. He's like, holds out the kettle. It's like, hey, we don't have to make dinner tonight. We got theirs.
Nope.
I'm not sure if they want that to be my last meal. It doesn't
Well,
sound very tasty.
If there is rain going, I suggest we get on their tracks fast.
I agree. They can only run and hide so far and so long. Let us see it done.
Alright, Oh, that's interesting. I have an idea. Give me that kettle.
He hands it over.
And you hear the thunder in the background.
He kind of shrugs and says, I'm sorry, and I spill the contents out.
We could have at least eaten it.
Hey, I'm in a bit of a hurry, you see. And I'm gonna take a piece of cloth to cover like the entrance, and I'm gonna
The opening.
yes, the opening, and I'm gonna stick what? It can be like my coin with what do I have here that can hold it in place? A car. Oh. Sure. I can use some of my sweets, which are sticky. I'm gonna stick it to the bottom of the pen. The old ones, right? And I'm gonna cast light on them. I'm basically trying to make this like a more focused light.
Okay.
Now I can use this to follow without at least announcing the entire world that we're here. Just where I'm pointing, which is the ground.
Yeah, but obviously people would see the light on the ground.
Yes, that's why I'm also covering the top with like a cloth. It doesn't stop all the light, but dims it a bit. Hopefully.
But just like it's dark at this point since now it's really dark because of the
Mhm.
rain. And obviously you can see somewhere where there's sunlight, but yes. It makes it not super obvious, but still relatively obvious if someone is looking for you.
Yes. That's good enough. And I'm gonna try to follow the tracks, see where they lead.
Okay.
I suggest everyone to fan out, not go directly behind me.
Yeah. Is that Callista would say that she doesn't know if that's a super smart idea since half of the group cannot see very well in the dark.
Yeah. You're going to have people blindly stumbling through the... Yeah. Why don't we just shoot up a flare so they can find us easier?
Like specifically the horses. Specifically the horses cannot see in the dark. So
The only other option I see is we go somewhere else and hide and wait out the night.
I think we probably should if that storm is coming in. I don't like the idea of...
that you absolutely can, but the rain will make it harder for you to initially track the road. Like it will get easier when you get to the parts where they went through the muddy, but the beginning of it will be very hard to find
That's what I expected.
after rain, right?
That's why I wanted to track a little, but yeah, it makes sense that in the night it's gonna be hard, so might as well. I wanna go at least 10 to 15 minutes off where we are before
Okay.
we even think about
Yeah, see if we can find one of those farmsteads that we passed.
So you want to go back or you want to follow the tracks?
I suggest we don't go to the farmstead. It's too obvious at this point. Let's go inwards towards the mountains, but not in the direction they're going.
Okay, so you're not following the tracks.
No.
Okay. So you head up off to the side, whatever side, really, right? And start making your camp?
Yep. When we think we are in a good defensible, not obvious position.
Yeah.
Something
I mean,
like
there's not like castles around where you can hide, but I mean,
Is there anywhere that's
Ulrich
got
hides in the castle.
Emmy, can you repeat that?
Is there anywhere that has good cover? Like, because it's gonna rain. Like, are we gonna
It's
just?
already raining, yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
you put your wizard?
Oh, you mean cover from rain? No,
Yeah.
not really. There are not really a lot of them. Maybe you can find a tree, but there would be lone trees. I don't know. Is it a sentinel tree then? Right? I think. Sentinel tree?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I could set up my dome, but I don't know how visible it is. It doesn't
think
glow or anything, but
No.
Paint it black and no one sees it in the night.
Yeah. I mean, you can make it opaque, right? So as long as you're not, I would think, probably like it's not eating light. It still reflects some, but it's not like a mirroring surface, right?
yeah, I'll do the ritual to set that up then if we're gonna camp, and we don't need a fire that way. It can be as warm,
And
as I want
dry.
inside.
Poor horses, however. But tie them to a
They're
tree.
just gonna have to get killed by the demon lightning. Sorry.
Let's hope it's not demon lightning.
All right. So you go up like 15 minutes into one direction, kind of find a tree where so you put the horses under.
And you would
And-
know, like, I know horses a little bit. Anybody that knows horses would know to hobble them, like tie one of their legs up so they can't run off as easily.
Okay.
So I would say that if Ulrich knows horses, then maybe he'd do that
Yeah.
so they don't run off in the night.
I mean, Ulrich's horse isn't going to run off, but Ulrich would assist everyone else in tying up their horses. Ulrich's horse is used to the sound of clashing and battle.
How about demon lightning?
I don't imagine demon lightning is much different sound-wise from regular lightning. I don't even know what demon lightning refers to, so I'm not terribly worried about it.
Yep.
I'm a little worried. You're making me worried, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
just
you
in
would
case.
demon lightning. You would also get like to know when you're under the dome, right? Because you can see outside. All right. So you kind of bind the horses to the tree, making sure they're not running off. At least not until they're really, really motivated to run off, right? And you put up your dome, and you had the under the dome.
Mhm.
I mean, it's enough space for you, so it's fine.
Yep.
All right. Same thing, first Hastos, then Kalista, but you're not getting interrupted during the night, so I'll just fast forward that. In the morning, you don't really see the sun coming up because the clouds hang high and it's still raining.
Great.
And it's also, as soon as you would get outside, I think you can temperate the under the thing, right? You can make it like,
Yeah, it can be any temperature I want, so it would be like comfortable.
yeah. So when you get outside, you would like when you start to get wet, it's also cool. So it is uncomfortable. It's not like really bad, but it's not like me, right?
It's chilly.
Yeah, especially when you get wet, right? I mean, that's like me.
Great. Good thing I have a cloak. Should give me a
Mhm.
drive for half an hour, hopefully.
Yeah.
Alright. So,
Ulrich,
what's
did
the
you
plan?
sleep in your armor again?
Yep.
Give me another Constitution save, please.
You really like sleeping in armor.
Okay.
when we're on campaign.
It's a security blanket.
Yeah, it takes him like 10 minutes to put it on or off in that case, but on.
Yeah, but not like he needs.
Yeah. No, but yeah, you wake up. It's even worse, but you're still okay. You used to campaign a little bit, and your sergeant was an asshole, so.
All right. In that case, I suggest you pick off. What do you propose? I could try to pick up the tracks, but in this terrain it's going to be difficult. We could just scour the mountains, but that can take days.
It's hills, it's not really mountains, but.
I mean, we know which direction they went. If we can't pick up their tracks, then we will just
If
travel
they're
that
off
way.
as smart, they would head in another direction like they did next to the battle site and then do a quick sharp turn towards the real direction. Like, so it's not obvious.
Well, we'll have to see if they're that smart, won't we?
Well, I thought there's many peasants walking this side, so if we see any tracks we can be sure it's them. We can just travel south, and they are in the mountains. Sooner or later we'll have to cross their tracks.
Indeed. Let's give it a shot.
Alright.
Okay.
You carry my horse. Yes. You carry, of course, on your shoulder.
Sure.
There's a lot of carrying of horses going on around here,
Yeah,
right?
your horse is strong, so you're mounted on a horse carrying a horse.
Yeah. Amish people. Amish people, right.
You take my horse, that's what I meant. I think you're wrong.
Take it. Oh, now we're getting really weird.
I said take, not claim.
Okay, give me another survival check with disadvantage. I'll tell you the DC right now. It's 15.
Okay.
Well, you rolled too fast, so but doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the outcome, right?
No. You start to move further, deeper into the basically just westwards, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So you move further westwards in I assume slow pace, so you actually get a chance to find anything. It takes you hours upon hours. You don't really. I mean, you come across wildlife like a hare, a deer, right? And tracks of them. None. What is it? Cloven footprints.
Mm.
No horse prints. You find. It's midday at this point. You would estimate. Took you four horses as you start to now get into the hilly sides. That naturally kind of funnels you into certain areas if you don't want to go up and down all the time.
Mhm.
I mean, you can decide to go up to get a vantage point, but it would certainly be more exhaustive. That's your decisions.
Great. In this terrain it's hard. Any plans?
Also, your sight is also impaired, obviously, due to
Yeah.
the heavy rain. Callista is just looking at you and saying "Oh, you're doing great. I like your plan."
Well, the good news is they're likely not out in this rain looking for us. If we can find them, we can catch them by surprise.
I think they're nowhere here. I think surprise is out the window. We could get them by surprise if we set up a watch. I mean, we know we're fairly close. We could, if we get up on eye on the hills, we can see when they leave. Catch one of their scout bands if we keep an eye out.
If the rain stops.
Otherwise, we can always rely on magic.
Indeed.
Perhaps perhaps Emily could look into
Nope.
her magic ball.
I was just holy shit, what does Callista have? I don't know about.
Well, I mean, if they're inside, that's not going to tell us much.
No, but it may behoove us to know what their leader and their sorcerer is up to.
Absolutely.
If he is conjuring death upon us, I would like to know. If he is aware of us, I would like to know. If he's neither of those things, I would still very much like to know.
Jesus, you also can give me a a nature check, since you asked me earlier if this is magic or natural. From what you can tell, it's probably natural, but you have been away from the prime for so long, you're not super positive. But
Yep.
yeah, it's likely. There's that. Okay.
Not sure. I think Emily is right that if we see them, we can find out. If I knew we were close, I could probably track them better, but I need to know we're close.
I mean, if that little pot that you have belonged to those bandits, I could use that to see where the bandits are. But that may or may not help.
Could be
It
interesting.
very well may.
I mean,
Yeah,
we're liable
try.
to just see them looking at trees, and there's trees everywhere.
Well, if we can just hear what they're talking about, if they're setting an ambush for us, we can know what their environment is like, what type of fortifications they have.
What they're talking about specifically, yeah, that's a good one.
Well, I can try to scry with the pot, if you guys want. I might set up another dome before we did that, like take the time so that I don't get disturbed, since it takes a while.
And you can only do it once, correct?
She can do it how often she wants.
I have it only has so many charges on it,
Yeah.
I see.
so I can do it until it runs out of charges.
Well, it may benefit us to, perhaps depending on where the owners of this kettle are and what we see from them, it may also benefit us to know where the wizard we seek is. I imagine these two entities are not unfamiliar with each other.
Well, I'll do the guys with the pot first, because it's an item
I agree.
Okay.
possession. So I mean that would probably make it. So
I
I'll
think
set up
I think you need to see them so you can do it, or is it just enough if you have an item of
I
them?
don't know. It just says let's see.
I think you need to be familiar with them, and it helps if you have
Well, I mean, I've heard. It says knowledge secondhand. You've heard of the target, so I know that they exist.
Mm,
So and then I have a possession.
wow.
It doesn't specify like if I have to have both of those things.
Sure, why not? I mean, I don't want to be a dick. Sure, you can do it. I'll gonna check on that later, but for now you can. Absolutely.
I'm just looking at what's in here. It says
Yeah, no,
knowledge
it's fine. Do it.
secondhand,
Do it. It's fine.
firsthand. You
Do
met
it.
him.
I don't want to worry about it right now.
All right. So what kind of roll do you want on it?
I think I need to make a save, right? Otherwise, it's
It's like a
just
wisdom
happens.
save.
Mhm. And I have a -10 because you have possession of garment. You like this. Wait. Body part lock fail. You don't have that possession, or you have a possession. Is it a possession? I would say it's a possession, right? I would say it's at least it's. I think you need knowledge, and it says you need knowledge. I would say like, okay, I will give you second-hand knowledge, but that's like already stretching it, right?
Well, and I saw some of them when we were. They may not be the same bandits I saw that the sorcerer was talking to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's up to you, because I did see some of them
Okay.
when he gave
Okay.
them the orders.
I'll give you a decision here, right? So I think the more I read it, I think you actually need to have knowledge of them, like know their name, knowledge of them, or have seen them. And you did see some of them, but you don't know if one of the guys you saw is the one. And I'll just say like you can pick one of them, and there's a fairly close thing that the bot actually is one of them. But you can totally try to see one of them or the leader.
I'll try
Sure.
to see the leader of the bandits, the one that he gave the letter to.
Yeah, James? Jason.
Jason.
His name is Jason.
Jason.
All right.
Because I know his name, and this pot might be his, so, you know.
Yes. I'll do a save for Jason then, right? So let me see. I'll do this before so I know how he reacts, because he would realize that he's been spied upon if there's
Please
fail.
let him be dumb.
It's wisdom, not dumb, right?
Yeah, I know, but please let him not be very wise.
Yeah, well, to be fair, if he reacts anything like the rest of us, he's just like, yeah, whatever. I feel weird. 'Cause
What's
that's how
the
what
DC?
we were doing.
What's the DC? That's what I wrote.
17?
It's 17?
says
It's 8 plus
save
proficiency.
DC 17,
All right. I
and I
rolled a
don't know if
16.
the
I rolled-
items modify it.
I rolled a 16 and has a wisdom modifier of 0. So close call, but all right. So what happens? So you form your dome. You're in like one of the valleys of the hills, and you form the dome. Sit down, and this it first turns milky again. And as you open your eyes, you kind of look over the shoulder of Jason. You see Jason again in similar. You don't know. It's not the same Kevins you saw him earlier, but it's probably the same system. At least it's likely. You see him talking to, or just finished talking to a group of wet other bandits, and he seems to be disturbed. At least he's like quickly going over to some others. There's a pulley system. No. Okay, so room. He's in a cave, and you see that there's an elevator pulley system in the middle. The cave has an opening up over your heads, and he just finished talking with these two like drenched other human men. He seems to be in a hurry. He shouts orders like "lift up," and the pulley system like slowly turns up the elevator he stepped upon. Moves up. You realize this is the same room you saw him earlier. Moves over straight to the direction where you saw the mage when you first spied upon him. He enters the room and he says, "Gormundel, there have been armed people coming from Nesmi. I think they're searching and investigating what happens on the route. This went faster than we expected." Obviously, you don't hear the... You would perhaps, in the first room, you would still perhaps hear a muffled rain, but not when it is here now. So I'll just... Boop.
Oh, so in the previous room, so we know it's the previous room is at least one of the entrances or nearby.
Yeah.
No, we already
And-
saw the light, I think.
And you see Gormundel kind of stand up to turn towards you and nod. And as he stands there, nods towards him and says, "Very well. Get prepared. I don't want to take any chances." You see behind him some smoke, a puff, enveloping something that wasn't there before. And as the smoke kind of fades away, you see a scrawl that then falls onto the table that has like other notes on top of it where Gormundel was just sitting. And like Jason kind of looks a little bit startled for a second, and Gormundel kind of turns around and says, "Now, leave me. I have no orders that I need to take a look at."
No, Jason, stay and let me see those orders.
And turns around and leaves the room as you see Gormundel kind of sitting down and starting to unroll this parchment.
Anything we see on the parchment on the outside?
No, he leaves it fast. Like he just nods and fast.
Of smoking new orders?
Yeah, and this has been like 5 minutes, so you could stick with him, or you can do something else. You can
I
also
would
always
probably-
break the spell.
I might break the spell and try to catch Gormundel and see if I can see what he's got there.
How fast is the casting speed?
I think it's too long. He has to be
Yeah.
10 minutes, yeah, so it
I
wouldn't...
mean, it's your
work.
decision. Absolutely, it's
I
your
mean,
decision.
unless he's a really slow reader, I don't think I'd catch it in time. I mean, I could see what he goes to do afterwards and hope he doesn't... Because I have the first hand on him, and
I think we
A
would rather
letter on
see
him,
what
so-
Jason's preparing.
yeah, we can keep an eye on Jason, see what he tells people to do.
All right.
Yeah.
So he goes back into the room with the police system, and at this point you see that there are some more people like gathered around, maybe a dozen altogether, and he starts barking orders, basically like saying like, "We have intruders. Rick told me that there's been guards or people sent from Nesmi, and they're taking a look around, moving even through the night. We'll need to track them, find them, and see if they're indeed trying to follow us and find us, and see what they're going to do.
Good, they might be actually coming to us then. We could just
And
wait,
the
be ready.
last thing you hear is, don't engage them, just track them for now, and report with what you're seeing. Each one of you goes in groups of 3, so make sure like someone makes it back, and also don't lead them directly to our base. Now go. Tomorrow evening, I want to have a full report and want them found. And that's the last thing you see before the 10 minutes. The full duration of the 10 minutes is over.
So we can pretend that we don't know that they're coming and try to catch some of, like, keep an eye out for them and try to catch one, maybe?
How, are you familiar with illusions? You could set up a fake watch bit, well, a fake campfire. We could put the horses there. They would come to investigate them. We'd be waiting, and we could then ambush. We need to start
Yeah, but
going in
he
groups of
said
3.
not to engage us, so they wouldn't exactly, like, get close. They'd probably hang out and watch.
Exactly,
Yes.
which is why we have the fake camp. And when they're watching, we can go the other way around. They'll never suspect it.
Yeah, we
Oh.
could put a fake camp in like a valley so that they have to be close, reasonably close to see it, and then ideally what we could spring a trap on them. It's not a bad idea. If we
Well,
can
We
take
might
one
want
of
to
them,
leave the stealthier people to spring the trap. They're more likely to hear you clunking around than...
I said nothing about springing a trap myself. But
I mean,
yeah,
I'll. Why don't you and I stay at the fake camp and let the 3 sneakier or more capable people.
I think that could work. Or
Could
I
do
could
that as
spot
well.
them from above. Calista could take care of the 2 others, and I think I can capture 1. I could prevent them from running away on their horses or steeds easily.
And
Assuming I
Hastos
can
can definitely to take a better cover than any of us. He can appear like a beast of the forest. It seems a blue one, but
Yeah, it looks a little bit strange if he does, right?
I think that's a good, our best plan at the moment. Do you go through with it?
I mean-
Callista is game, but what says the saying?
Yeah, I'm game.
I think it's important that we find a good location. We find like a
Yes, of
valley,
course.
a spot in between hills to make the camp and light a fire so that they can see the smoke. But if they actually want to see the camp, they have to get up on the hill
Well, it has to be
overlooking.
It's just a
somewhere dry
clearing
enough
amongst
to
some
light a fire,
shrubbery,
too.
right? So they have to get closer to make sure it's us or things like that.
Yeah.
All we need is a good vantage point to their vantage point, so we'll be on a probably quite far away, but just so we can look at.
Well, how about someplace secluded where we could put secluded enough that there would only be one way for them to look at us, but like enough if it's raining, so a campfire would be really smoky. So we could just stoke a really smoky fire, have only one way for them to look at us, or 1 or 2 ways for them to look at us, so we can be sure we're going to get them.
Sure.
If we
I
can find
think-
something like that.
Or I think Astos will see them easily. I mean, I know I would if I had this vantage point.
Sure.
Alright, I think we search for a good place. And create the fake camp, and then me and Kalita set watch while Astos does his thing.
Okay, so what's the plan exactly? So you're taking a look out for like a valley that is fairly has fairly steep hills on either side.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere where they would only be able to watch us from like 1 or 2 places.
I mean, you don't know from which direction they're coming. If they really want to crest like off the hills,
Yeah, I mean, they can watch
It's not it's not mountains, right? It's not
Yeah,
like
but if they're up
peaks.
on the edges of a valley, then they have only like two sides to look at us, or then they have to be down on the ground with us. And I imagine they'd pick a high spot to look at us for vantage wise.
At the very least, it would make them get close to figure out, what was causing the smoke to the fire. Closer than if we were like on top of a hill where they could see us from 3 hills away, and they're like, "Oh, hey, there they are."
Yes.
So if we're down in some type of, even if it's just like a crevice in between hills, it doesn't have to be a full-blown valley. But yeah,
Okay.
just somewhere that's concealed.
Okay. And what are you doing with this fake camp? And who is there, who is not, and what are the rest doing?
I mean, setting up a fire as best we can in the rain. Like, I guess we would try to get the fire, like, sort of under the canopy of a tree so it wouldn't be getting rained directly on.
Mhm.
And I'd probably be using, let's see.
Yeah, you can create fire to kind of keep it going.
Yeah, and I have prestidigitation that can make, like, I think it can create smoke as a harmless magical effect.
Hmm. So basically, stir the effect on to make it like.
Yeah, I would be using prestidig to make the smoke, make it smokier, like, than it would normally be.
Yes.
Simon, how steep are the hills around here?
Different, really. Like some are slow. They're usually not higher than 60, 70 feet, maybe 100, the highest ones you've come across thus far. Some parts of it naturally steeper than others, but really,
Yeah. So, like, what's the grade like? I mean, how incredibly difficult? Like, so we found a spot, right?
Yes.
Just surveying the area.
Yes.
How incredibly difficult would it be for a man in heavy armor to charge up a hill?
like if you wanted to find a place where there just really is, it is unlikely that they climbed the hills. It would be obviously hard. There are those and those really. Like some of them are partially really steep. Like it's not you need to climb. Actually, not can go up. But others are just like easily chargeable. However, tiring if it's up.
Right. I mean, I'm assuming we found a spot. This question will never, change what spot we get. The spot we get is the spot we get.
Yes.
Ulrich doesn't care whether he can charge up. Once we get there, that's just something Ulrich is gonna be looking for.
All right. So you guys want. So who is not in the camp?
Yeah, Callista and Estos.
Okay, so you two are in the camp. I'd say one of them is difficult terrain to move up. The other one is straight not moving upable other than climbing.
Okay.
At least partially. It's not like just like going up, right? It's just like, going up steeply and then there's like a cliff and then it goes up steeply a little bit further, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
That makes sense?
Yep.
All right.
Perfect.
Meanwhile, we'll get some disguises. By disguise, I mean like take some shrubs.
Like a
and whatnot.
mustard? Yeah.
Take some shrubs to cover our clothes and whatnot, and getting a good vantage point where he could. I mean, I'm a scout, and probably Emily is also trained in this. Like, if you were to approach this thing without being noticed,
Yes.
get a good vantage points on the prime spots for that.
Okay, so you want to be on one of the spots that would be approached?
No, I want to get a good vantage spot on those.
All right. I would say if you want to approach and take a look, you would probably try to climb one of the hills, stay low, and look. So you are already on trying to hit the highest point around it.
Okay.
And there are, as I said, there are two hills that are like left to and left and right, or whatever, forward and backward, right? One of is a little bit steeper, and one that is a little bit more normal. So if you want to split, or if you want to stay to one of them, if so, which one? Yada yada yada.
I'd say the less steep one, so we can slide down
Well,
if need be. But that's just my.
so you go towards the left one. At least that's where you want to head. Where Callista just waits for like instructions. She would prefer to stick together. Since last time she left you, she had to fight a vampire. That wasn't super fun.
It wasn't not fun either, though.
That was tons of fun. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So she would like want to stick together somewhat, but
I
I
agree.
mean, if you tell her to, like,
Better we stay together.
all right. So you two go to the not as steep hill. Hastos, what are you doing?
Hastos is. I'm going to go into owl form, and I am going to try to perch myself on the highest tree that'll give me the vantage point.
All right. Hidingly, or so if you hide, you have less all around sight.
Oh, hidingly. No, I gotta hide.
All right. I just wanted to tell you, like, obviously, if someone sees you, there's like, this is strange, right?
Yeah.
All right. Then you three give me a stuff check. Well, me as well, since I'm one of those three, I guess. Boop. Yay! I rolled a 20. Oh shit. All right. So yeah, would you sit on the other side, the other hill, or the hill with your two buddies?
Probably the other one.
And Ulrich and Emily, you two kind of. Ulrich, you look like a wet poodle, and Emily kind of does her trick show. What do you do with the other horses?
We'll all leave them tied at the camp, I think.
Yeah, we tie them all up at the campsite, but Ulrich leaves his saddled.
Okay.
The idea is that if they came here, they think the other three are probably out hunting or doing something else, while these...
Well, we only have 4 horses total. So
Yeah.
1 for me, 1 for Emily, and then 2 more. Actually, I'll tell you what. Ulrich would take all of the bags. He would take the saddles off of Callista's and Welkin's, and take all of the bags and just anything that's holding stuff that's not a saddle, and throw them over those horses so that they look like they're pack animals. So
Okay.
it looks like 2 horses and 2 pack animals.
Okay.
But Ulrich specifically, actually Ulrich just leaves his horse untied because it's trained to stay around and saddled.
Mm-hmm.
And
Great,
he's just
great.
sitting there
Yeah.
sharpening one of his swords with his javelins like sitting right next to him.
Yeah, so you as you said, like you found like a tree where you could somewhat hide under to not be in the brunt of like the rain. But obviously it's been raining for the better part of a day now, so even under a tree we would get wet, right? It's at some point just wet through, but not as harshly.
Yep.
Okay.
Just got like his oil cloak pulled up.
Yep. I'll say, okay, Emily, so you're just sitting there and basically keep this going?
Yeah, like I wouldn't be doing it super obviously, but I'd be making subtle little gestures and
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that
keep
you
it
try,
going.
if you want to make a fire, that you really need to focus on it, because the wood that you would be able to find is all wet.
yeah.
So yeah, you kind of tend to the fire in some form.
Yeah, and I'd be alternating like create fire, smoke, fire.
Give me an
smoke.
Arcana, please.
All right.
And the other 3, give me perception checks. All right, so Emily, you're doing a good job. Like you have done this up in the mountains in your childhood, really. Also, like it's not unlike those times, because wetwoods in the higher mountains isn't really uncommon as well, or having at least problems kind of keeping it alive from the wind that is usually blowing there more than anything else. And so you're doing a really good job, and it really starts like the water kind of evaporates, and you kind of create a little bit of an extra. So this is like a really not bad. And to your luck, actually, the rain dies down a little bit. It's not drizzle. It's really still rain, but it's not like as oh shit, wall of rain in front of my eyes. Can't watch further than 50 feet. Kind of thing going on, right? So you actually can take a look out a little bit further, and you'll do this an hour, 2 hours. Actually, Ulrich goes past and tries to gather some more woods from around. Really, it's just like there are not really a lot of trees around, so you actually need to cut down with your sword some of the bushes or something, really, which makes it like even worse smoke-wise. Is there anything above the fire?
Maybe some tree. Like I would have tried to position it under a tree, but I would hope that the branches would be high. Like I should try to make it so that the branches above wouldn't catch smoke.
Catch fire. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
catch
the
fire.
smoke would go over, but catch fire.
Yeah.
Ulrich puts the kettle on their kettle that he took on the fire. He's like cooking up some stew, and he's just got like some crappy roots that he found nearby. He's not even sure if they're edible, or he doesn't know that.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
we're pretending to camp. We're playing.
Yeah,
house.
present camping, indeed. All right, so you do this for now 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, nothing.
All right, at this point, Hastos is at the bottom of the tree, hiding.
All right, so you're in the bottom of the tree, or you, at the bottom of the tree, kind of looking, trying to hiding towards the outside from away from your camp, I assume, right?
Yes.
All right, so 5 hours, and you're getting drenched. Everybody at this point is drenched. Not fun, really not fun.
Great.
6 hours go by.
Whose stupid plan was this?
If they're wet, if we're wet, they're just as wet, hopefully.
The rain dies down a bit further. 6.5 hours go by, and welcome. You see a group of 3 people, not on horseback, moving from onto the other, moving to your direction, up the hill from the other side towards the smoke.
From the other side. So we're on the south, I assume? If we were...
Whatever. So they would be
That-
coming from the south.
Okay. I pointed out to Callista.
Yeah, she would like.
There's our quarry. How far away are they at the moment? A lot.
80 feet, 19
80 feet.
maybe. Yeah, you can't really go look see a lot further.
Mm.
And yeah, you like it's a lot of place you actually need to look for, right?
They're coming to our direction, right?
Yeah, like they're not like heading straight into your direction, but like they will move roughly in your
Right.
direction.
I don't see Aestos around.
Now,
I kind of nudge her.
like he's too far away. He's actually too far away. You know that he's on the other side, but
And I basically begin... I mean, she's not here, so I'm not gonna roleplay too hard, but basically
yeah,
begin
you
making
absolutely do.
plans.
She's there.
Okay, sure.
What the fuck? I'm here.
I think we can take him.
She kind of looks at you. Do we want to take them? Is that the
I
plan?
think we need one of them alive. Or do you want to just make them run and then follow them?
Your
I think
call.
the plan was to kill 2 of them, leave 1 alive, and then we can either follow them or persuade him. I think he knows ways. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, you do.
Torture those humans.
Exactly. So they're not mounted, right?
No.
Okay, so here's the plan. I can spring a trap on their feet, you go over, you kill the 2 toughest looking ones, and then capture the weakest.
You start to see that one stops moving to your direction, still about, like as I said, like 80 feet away, and the other 2 kind of moving ahead.
Oh. Interesting. Well, that changes plans.
What
Okay,
was
but-
your stat? 13? Alright, let me see. Okay.
I think that changes things. We could just wait for the other 2 to disappear and take that loner.
Yeah, that's the 2 of them are still moving into your direction.
Yep, I'm gonna keep ready just in case they spot us, but
Mm.
otherwise I wanna let the other 2 pass. And
Yeah,
then
about
they're-
50 feet away or so, someone looks into your direction and says something to the other one, who then turns around and moves away. And the one that looked into your direction goes sideways.
Okay, I put the point where they're running, and I'm gonna cast a spell, so initiative I think.
Alright, give me initiative. But
Yes.
this is so unwieldy.
I can't believe Astos staged this!
Wait, he did what? He's on the other side, man. He didn't. Did
I
you?
think he's by the tree, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
on the other mountain, so you can see him.
Oh.
Or hill, not mountain.
Didn't he go back to the camp, or
No.
that's the impression I got?
No, he said he was on a tree on the other side, and after 5 hours he went to the bottom of the tree. Correct?
After 4 hours, yes.
Or 4
Oh,
hours.
okay.
Yes. All right, what do you got? It's fun. All right, welcome. You're the first to act.
All right, that's easy. The spot where the other one is running, Welkin puts his hand on the ground, punches it. There's a small tremor. This is not the one.
So whom are you attacking? The one that's in the back?
Not
one
attacking.
that run-
I'm covering the retreat, basically preventing where they were
Okay,
coming from.
on whom?
The one that was in the back running away.
The one in the back wasn't running away yet. The
No.
the one of the two in front turned around and ran towards the other one.
Okay, I'm gonna put it towards the one in the back, regardless, to cover the path they were coming from. So can I cover the entire path so they can run away that way? They have to take another path?
No, it's a hill. It's not a path that leads up there. They were going through the wilds there. And maybe on the other side there's something like this, but this is like the not as steep one, right?
I'm gonna steal it on the back one in that case, slightly behind him.
Yeah.
Just so if he tries to move, he's gonna be in bad shape. And then I'm gonna get up and move behind some rock and get out my bow.
Alright. I have no idea how far this fucking weapon's reach is. Someone knows? Short crossbow?
A short
Head crossbow? I think it's
And-
60, 90
and
or something.
and
30,
crossbow.
90.
And
Yeah.
crossbow is 30 feet. 60, I think, is long.
Alright, and the heavy crossbow reaches her then, right?
Yes, every
So
crossbow.
Calista kind of had the heavy crossbow out since she knows like how far it reaches. I don't, but she does. And she starts to shoot at the guy that is running away. And shoots twice, like. This is like super shitty. All right, let me do this. This makes it a little bit better. I'm sorry, but like this is like a lot of things I need to take care of right now. All right, yeah, she shoots him twice in the back, and he falls over and slides in the ground in the mud. At this point, clearly dead. The one that is moving to the side looks at this in horror and kind of tries to turn around and run in another direction away from you guys. I'll use my extra action search and then try to shoot him again, twice. Can she miss? I don't think so. Oh yeah, with one I can miss them. All right.
Calista, don't murder them all.
And yeah, shoot the other guy as he tries to run away. Also twice, like one in the shoulder. And he kind of wheels around and gets another one straight into the chest, and kind of starts dying there. Now that's all she can do. Now obviously the last one that is now in the midst of this thorny stuff that is grown around him. You said it dead center on him, right?
Yeah, he knows that this is bad. Because
Maybe he
he saw
does.
the
Maybe
spell.
he doesn't.
No, he knows if he sees the spell being cast. If he sees the area of the spell, he knows it's
Yeah.
bad on the cast. It needs
Yeah.
not see it.
Did he see you? No, he did not. Does he realize that he's in a shit can? What's the modifier? Oh, no. So what does it do there exactly? Let me see. Oh, you can't. If you move, you take it.
Yeah. You can try to bunny hop.
It even says like if you need to make a wisdom perception check against your spell, otherwise.
Yeah,
you
but
don't.
it's if you can't see the.
Yeah, but he's like the guy far in the back, right? So, all right, this is gonna be ugly. All right, so he sees the other two guards quickly like just fall over. He can barely see the bolts that are sticking out of him, and he kind of turns around and just tries to book it. quickly ensnares one of his feet in the vines that now are all around him he didn't see. And let me see. Holy shit, he doesn't fall. Wow, I rolled something higher than a 4. Cool. Alright, so he kind of he trips for a second. Give me your 2d4 damage on this one.
Breaks his neck.
3 damage.
Alright. He trips for a second and with his arm kind of goes into one of the brushes that he tries to hide behind, and like he seems angry and tries to move further. Now, there's another 2d4 points of damage. Now, if you roll really high, all right. So he kind of moves through the brushes and kind of cuts himself open, and he tries to move further. So that's a 20-foot radius, right?
Yes. So
right.
that's
so that's another 2d4. He will take damage.
if he wants to keep moving.
Yeah, he tries. All right, and now he kind of he falls on the ground and like, and sits there for a second, and now kind of takes a closer look around him to take a look if he now sees if he's made it maybe nearly outside or not. Oh yeah, he does. Crit 20 on that. So he sees that the edge is just ahead of him, but that's his turn for now. Your turn again.
Alright, I begin dashing in his direction.
Yeah, he was 90 feet away, now 100 feet. Actually 105, but I mean, meh.
I'm gonna be shouting, "Stop! Stop!" And I have my bow, I'm not ready to shoot, but I'm just gonna tell him to stop in common. Surrender!
Alright, give me an intimidation.
Okay. Intimidation. There we go. Oh.
Okay, he kind of turns around, his face like bloody at this point from the vines he just fell into, and he kind of freezes for a second there. Callista kind of does a roll, getting ready for another shot, and watching you running down the hill.
I kinda look at her and give her like the old, like lifting my hand as I go over still.
No, she wasn't firing, she just prepared an action there.
Okay. And if that's it, I keep going over to him.
Yeah, he kind of stays there shocked for a second, takes a look around, to see if he can do anything about this. Nope. He stays there. What are you doing on your next turn?
Yeah, when I get over, I drop my bow.
You're not getting over this turn yet.
Oh, no?
No, it's a little bit like it's not normal terrain.
Okay.
It's difficult terrain.
Alright,
You will get there next round if you keep like moving, running past. You'll get to the edge of your spell.
in that case, I'll do that and still keep an eye on him. Stand still and we'll spare your life.
Yeah. He looks around. Callista still kind of aims at him. He seems completely freaked out. Your turn again.
Alright, I get over to him, drop my bow so I'm not aiming directly at him.
Yeah. So when you step inside your own spell, give me 2d4.
Oh, can I go around it?
Yeah, but that will take a lot longer.
Oh, in that case, I'll just dispel it. I mean,
Alright.
it makes no sense I step in my own spell.
Alright.
Right, get my sword out and like aim it at him so he's not running away.
Yeah.
Well, if you answer our questions, I can promise you we'll let you go. For now, drop your weapons.
Yeah, he already had the weapons dropped back when he was starting to run, actually.
Alright, I make sure he has everything dropped.
Yeah. Give him a perception check. Okay. Yeah. Yes. He doesn't seem to have any more weapons. He has some. He had a crossbow that he dropped, so he has some bolts left. But other than that, he doesn't seem to have any more weapons aside from a dagger that is on his belt. But it's not like a super threatening weapon. I mean, okay, if you sleep, yes, but. And he looks really in bad shape, like his arms, his face, like scratched up by the vines and the thorns he was running through, trying to get away from you guys.
Right.
Yeah,
I
he just stays there.
I tell him to lie on his ground, take my rope, and tie his
Yeah,
hands behind his back.
he lies on his chest and lets it do it to you. Yeah, his face completely the mud kind of intermingling and mixing with the blood.
Alright. After that, I take the rest of the rope, so after his hands are tied behind his back, swing it over my shoulder, so I have a good hold on him. And then I
Please.
cast.
Let me go. Why did you attack us? We didn't do anything to you. You just murdered two of my friends.
Don't lie, I know who you are. You're the scout sent by
We didn't do anything to you.
Gormundel.
Why did you kill us?
Jason sent you.
You monsters.
Jason sent you. Now, come with
Let
us.
me go, please. I didn't do anything.
We'll see. Come with us. This guy had weapons, he's not a hunter. And
Yeah,
crossbows
they
is
have,
not friend.
they have some leather armor, and he has a crossbow.
Yeah, not a hunter. Not buying that. Alright, now I'm gonna unite with Callista. I'll tell her. This guy is in very bad shape, you said?
Yeah, he looks rough.
Alright, I'm gonna cast
No, don't touch me, please.
this.
No.
I tell him to eat a couple. At least until
I don't eat anything of your poison. Go away.
I could tell you to eat still. Trust me, this will help.
Let me go, please. I didn't do anything.
I'm not great at this. Like I said, do what you are told to, and you'll be fine.
What do you want me to do? Just let me
For
go.
now, it is two, and then follow me. It's simple. Or better yet, walk ahead. I'm gonna begin, like, kinda dragging him.
Yeah.
Along with Callista, and we'll go back to the camp. I tell her to, like, search the others, or at least probably either corpses.
Yeah. She just grins at you and nods. I'll do that.
Yeah, she's good at that. Once I get to a vantage point, can I see Aestus? Kind of try to signal him so he knows.
No, but you see the others. I mean, it's super easy for Emily to message him, just light a fire, shoot a firebolt, like as flare-esque in the top or something.
Yeah, basically, when I get close enough to camp, I kind of wave, point at the guy that I have, and tell them to come over.
He's
And, like,
hobbling down.
to the
Yes.
cat neck, as in stop with.
Still bleeding, like from the rain actually made his face totally red from the blood that is spread over his face at this point as well.
I wouldn't be able to see them when they got back to camp.
I would assume you're looking in the other direction primarily. I mean, they can shout out to you super
I mean, you
easily.
probably heard the shouting, right?
Yeah, sure, I shout out to him so he knows.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
so
like trying to beckon everyone over.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had
We're
down.
not gonna be at the camp that's obvious a trap, so
yeah, yeah.
scouts can see
Well,
us.
it's not even obviously a trap when you get there if everybody isn't just there, right? I mean, it's actually a cab. So,
It is no longer a trap. It is now a camp.
yeah.
Did anybody check the other evil dudes to see if they had anything good on them?
Callista is doing that.
I would imagine Callista would have.
Yeah, as I
Callista's
said,
doing
like Alyssa's doing it right now. She actually didn't come back to camp at this point. She just went down and took a look, while Vulcan just like kept this guy dragging behind him.
He's not in great shape, but he's good enough. Yeah, the
Let me
crossbow.
go!
Two of his
Are you
other friends.
sleepers?
I'm gonna look it over and be like, do you want to try to intimidate him like we did that dwarf?
There we
There's no
go.
need. There's no need to intimidate the poor boy. Look at him. Oric would walk over to him and just kind of lay his hands on the guy's shoulders
Ah!
and say a quick prayer just under his breath. Hold on, sorry, spells. I haven't done this in a long time.
Healing? What the fuck is that? I smite shit.
It's not even working. I cast Cure Light Wounds on him.
Alright, yeah. You heal him somewhat. Probably not full, but like
Yeah.
so you start to see his wounds close, but his face still covered in red, right, from the rain that kind of mixes and
God, now I can hurt him again.
Oh
no, no.
no! Please don't hurt me! I've done nothing to you! Okay, with
Alright.
that you actually completely heal him.
Yeah. So Oric's like, alright, boy, calm down.
did I do to you?
We know you were sent by Jason.
I don't, sure, of course I was sent by him. What did he send me for?
What did he send you for? Why are you out here?
I was sent by him to you, just as you said.
And what of Gormundel? Do you know of him?
Yes, he sent me too. Those two sent me.
And you've been, and what of that caravan we found out on the road? Those 3 carts and those dead men and women.
Yeah, I was sent there too, of course. You're right. Please don't hurt me.
Do you know that highway robbery is a high crime, son? Crime punishable by death?
Don't kill me, please don't.
I did promise we set him free if he answered the questions. I intend to keep that.
Or just kind of lays a reassuring heavy hand on the guy's shoulder and says, "Today is your very lucky day, my boy. For the first and only time, you have a chance to be pardoned for a high crime. If you help us find Jason and Gormundel, you show us where they are, and don't interfere with us in any way, we will let you go on your own, and you can move past this."
Give me a persuasion check.
Gladly. Persuasion. Come on.
He says, I don't know. I don't know where they are. Honestly, I have no idea. I cannot lead you there.
You don't know where you are, or where they are. You just came from there. Not this morning. How do you think we know you were talking? How do you think we know they sent you?
You know he's under orders not to lead us back there. We need to.
Good question. Was he one of the guys that we
him.
saw Jason talking to?
No.
Okay.
Yes, similar gear, but they don't wear uniform.
Yes, they don't have uniforms.
So might be someone else, might be not. Possibly not, but meh.
Crossbow, leather armor around his part.
I mean, he's wearing leather armor. Really, it could be a hunter.
With and crossbow.
It's easy to shoot.
Everyone else with a bow or a crossbow, not the hand.
He doesn't have a hand crossbow. He had a crossbow.
Okay. I thought it was hand.
No. I just said, like, I don't know the range of a hand crossbow because I was shooting with Callista.
Okay, I guess Callista's got him. Or
Yeah,
just kind of looks at the kid and says, "Listen, boy, either way, it's your head off your shoulders, or you help us. Those are your choices. I know you know the information we seek."
He says, I'm trying to help you, really. He said if I'm helping you, you let me go. He promised me.
Yes, and you can help us by taking us to where Jason and Gormundel are.
I don't know. I don't know where they are. I don't know what you're talking about.
Where were you this morning? Where were you yesterday?
In the hills, hunting?
Boy, we saw you. Well, not you, but we saw Jason yesterday giving me orders to come search for us.
I don't know who Jason is.
You just said earlier.
So, you ready to bet on it?
How about we just kill him and get Hastos to talk to his corpse?
Corpses don't.
I would say that in front of him.
That's
I
so
would just say that in front of him, like nonchalantly. It's more of an intimidation thing, but you know.
At this point, he's just sobbing and crying.
Hastos has a grin on his face.
Look, my companion is checking your other two buddies. I notice you split up. Perfect scout tactics, if you ask me. Not hunters.
There were
If
two
he
others?
comes back, and those were indeed the guys sent after us, are you ready for an arrow in your foot?
He's
How about we go
sobbing.
talk to their corpses and show them how it's done? Make sure that this guy really isn't just some peasant for Welkin's coup
Out
stick.
here, in the middle of nowhere, in the mountains, splitting up, coming to our camp, at this point, in a group of 3? Coincidence much? Maybe if the planets aligned. Honestly, this doesn't look like a hunter.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. And I'm gonna go over to one of the corpses.
Yeah, Callista
I'll
would
leave
at this point. Callista would at this point come into your direction, and I mean you could lead them there. You can just go on your own there. Really,
I'd
Oh,
follow Jesus to see, because I like watching magic. So she likes being nosy.
Get away from the corpses, just so he doesn't have to see this.
So, what are you doing? What is everybody doing? So, Jesus, you're going and asking Callista where they are. So,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, they're like out of sight of the camp, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah, they're
over
up
the
on the
mountain.
ridge, kind of up on the top.
They're over the mountain and then down again. Some.
Over the mountain and through the woods.
So, Ulrich, you're staying with the dude. You're taking him with
Yep.
you.
No. Ulrich's not going.
All right, welcome.
I'm gonna take the kid somewhere where the rain doesn't. Probably beneath a tree or one of
So
the
you're
alcoves
staying.
of the
You're
mountain.
staying
Yes.
with the. Okay.
Yes. I'm
So
not
the three of you go to one of the corpses. And, you see that they are missing their ears.
Look how it
Just
looks
looks
Callista.
at Callista.
Yeah, she just looks back like, she's like, what?
Shakes his head.
You think you're gonna get a bounty for those? Like,
I don't know, maybe.
And
You
he
have to go
sits
back
down,
home.
cross-legged,
Mm.
at the body. They're human, right?
Yes,
Okay.
like really young, maybe 16, 18. The dude you kind of caught is maybe 20 or something.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, you sit down in the in the rain still.
Don't bother me.
Yeah, like, you're like this, like eh. Eh.
This is my
And,
monthly shower.
and Callista is looking, and Emily, you're looking. Yeah, so you're sitting there casting your spell, and this young boy, kind of similar to before, you have a little bit of trouble kind of starting to burn the incense you're using to cast the spell, but you manage to do so in the end, and same thing happens, like it lies on the ground, and as you cast the spell, the eyes kind of flush open, the bloodshot eyes, and kind of like.
What are you
Looks
doing
at you.
out here?
Hunting.
God damn it, Welkin.
Who or what are you hunting?
Our prey. We were searching for it.
What exactly was your prey?
A group. I don't know who they were.
And what?
Ask him if Jason sent him or Gormundel sent them.
Did Jason or Gormundel send you?
Yes. And with that, the magic kind of fades, and he
Mm-hmm.
falls down back again.
I knew it.
That was the
Screw
important
that.
question.
3 guys, one of them staying back. They see us, they split up. No way they're hunters. No way. Screw that. I'm not killing peasants again.
I would have laughed if you did. I mean, I would have won.
Hey, technically, I didn't kill anyone.
In fact, we probably would have had to call it tonight because I wouldn't have been able to play anymore. I would have been laughing so hard. All right, so Hastos gets up and starts heading back to the group.
Emily would follow.
And when we get there, I tell Welkin he's a little liar. Now it's my turn to interrogate him.
Remember, if he answers, I was promised to keep him alive.
Um,
He's cooperative.
The first one, Simon.
Oh,
All right.
Jesus.
So kind of his eyes open, and you see like a spark of green light, like flash. And as he opens it down, you hear like a and then like a bear comes running into your direction.
Ulrich steps in between the bear and the kid and draws his sword.
Move
Runs
or I will attack you. Now.
I
He runs
push
into it.
Ulrich out of the way. Wait, I think that's Aestus. I've seen that bear before.
Ulrich doesn't get out of the way.
All right.
He
Bear
full well
still
understands.
Bear still comes running to their direction, but starting to break as he kind of runs towards seemingly Hastus. And kind of
He's
stops.
running toward. The
Move.
bear is running towards Hastos.
He just like stopped in front of you guys, specifically in front of Hastus, and sits there. This is a brown bear.
Oh.
And the bear's talking.
No, I'm talking. I'm telling you, move.
Okay, so Hastos didn't turn into a bear. There is a separate bear.
Yes, he came just like from the direction, like somewhere from the bushes, in the valley, deeper in the valley.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. Clarification. Yeah. Ulrich stares Hastos down and says, "Absolutely not. I won't let you and your vile elf magic harm this man.
Your
This
methods
boy.
aren't working with the elf.
I am not done.
Wait, calm down. What
I
sort
am not done. Everyone, stand back. This boy will tell us the truth in the presence of the gods, whether he wills it or not. Get
Emily
rid of
kind of
this
folds her arms across
creature.
her chest and like narrows her eyes.
Ulrich's
one of
keeping
the-
his sword like ready towards
He's
the bear.
one
though.
of Gormundel's minions. He's one of the sorcerer's minions. You're just going to pretend that he's some mewling child? He's not. He was sent here to find us.
I understand that. Nonetheless, I won't have him tortured or tormented by whatever foul necromancies this elf intends to do to him. If he's going to die, he'll die a more reasonable death than that.
That is a
We need information.
I
Him
will get
being
the
dead
information.
isn't-
He will give us the information we need.
So what are you doing?
I'm Ulrich's
I'm
like
giving
staring
you one,
down the
a
bear.
player to player. I'm giving you one chance, and I am killing your character because now I'm getting annoyed.
Okay. I mean, Ulrich has a better way to get information out of him. He just can't do it with a bear staring him down. I mean, if that's what it's going to turn into.
Gonna do.
I mean, it's very
you had
obvious.
a chance.
It's very obvious for everybody around here that the prisoner, like, he is maybe 20 years old, right? And he is completely scared and sobbing and sitting behind Ulrich, basically. So what do you want to do? So the bear is still there, looking at Hastos, and Hastos seems to be pretty angry.
What time of day is it? Like, where's the sun at?
Afternoonish.
I
No
think
sun.
the time
You
of
don't
day
know
is
where
least
the
of
sun-
our worries at the moment.
It's 3, 2.
How long does a torch last? No, I'm just trying to figure out, like, you have until this runs out to get answers out of him, and then you have to let us, because we're not going to stand here all day and
I only require 15 minutes. Give me
All right,
15
fine.
minutes with the boy. And if he doesn't answer me, then I'll cut his fucking head off.
No, we need
Oh.
answers, and you'll let us get answers from him. You won't destroy him until we get our answers.
Ulrich just shakes his head, and he's still waiting for the bear to go away. He's not putting his sword away until the bear's gone.
Bear's not moving.
Okay, then we're at a standoff.
Emily just glances at Jesus and says, "Do what you need to do. We need answers if we're going to stop this guy. We can't,
All right.
you know."
And I can't do
I gotta
anything.
type this because I telepathically talk to the bear. So
Mm-hmm. Actually, it doesn't say that it says verbal commands.
okay, so I say come.
I mean, you can say it in Elvish, but
Yeah, well, I always talk in Elvish. unless I'm talking to the group specifically.
Yeah, so when you say come, everybody who speaks Elvish can understand that. So he would kind of look at you and kind of step closer towards Hastos, which I assume is like a little bit like to the side, not directly at Ulrich, but yeah.
He'll try to walk around them at first.
Ulrich stays in between the bear and the kid.
Yeah.
So you move with the bear?
Yeah.
I point at Ulrich and I tell him to attack.
All right. Yeah, the bear starts to attack you, Ulrich.
Ulrich attacks the bear back.
All right.
Ulrich cuts the bear.
Ulrich, how do you want to do this? Do you want to like get injured, or you just want to kill the bear?
I'd like to just kill the bear straight
All
up.
right.
I mean, Ulrich's fought
All right.
worse than a bear before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the bear attacks you, and you were ready for it. So it attacks you, you push it away, and when it comes for the next attack, you gotta just pierce its hide deep into the body. And after like another quick attack, the bear just like clearly dies and then kind of lies in front of you.
Great. What's the point of all of this?
An excellent
Now
question.
Hastos says he calls upon the coils of the snake.
Ulrich is just glaring down Hastos now.
No, you're glaring up to Hastos.
All right, so what happens here?
Hastos, you remember that snake we saw earlier?
Mm-hmm.
That's Hastos now in spirit.
Well, you can't get that big.
It's huge. Size huge.
Yeah, but this thing was gargantuan.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. He's still big. Big snake.
Yeah, so Hastus turns into the spirit snake and kind of looks down onto you, Ulrich.
You don't intimidate me, you elf wizard.
Ulrich, just let him do his thing. What? Bro, we have enemies. Why the hell are you
You
fighting?
know what? I got a better idea. I don't do that.
It already happened.
All right. Well, I turn back
All right.
and I just go sit down.
Okay.
Now that we are done with that foolishness, Ulrich kind of angrily stuffs his sword into its sheath at his side,
Mhm.
and he goes to his pack. Or actually, before he walks away, he looks at anyone else and says, "If anyone else lays a hand on this boy before I'm done," and he points to the bear on the ground. And then he goes over to his pack and starts pulling out some candles and some incense and stuff.
Yes.
And he lays candles out in like a circle around wherever the kid's tied up.
Yeah.
Lights them and lights some incense. He pulls his holy symbol like out from underneath his chainmail and stuff, and he looks the boy in the eye and says, "We're done playing games. You cannot lie in the presence of the gods. The Trinity is watching over us." Oh, that's the wrong. This one. Whoops.
All right.
Blah blah blah.
Or what's the DC?
Charisma. Let me find that for you very quickly. 13 plus the spell level, I think, right? My
It's
Do I
your
get the spell?
charisma modifier plus 8 plus your.
then it's just 13. I thought the
proficiency.
spell level had anything.
No.
Had something. Then it's just 13.
All right, that's still fine.
Okay. And then Ulrich kind of sits down cross-legged before him and says, "Where is Jason? How do we get to their hideout?
He's in the lair
How do we get there?
on foot.
In which direction? How far? How will we know it when we find it?"
About half a kilometer in that direction. He kind of points away. Oh, he would say westward.
And how will we know it when we find it?
Actually, give me a second. I need to take a look. Just follow the river. It will lead you there. You will see up in the cliff. You will see a door, as well as an entrance in a cavern.
the entrance is inside of the cavern?
He shakes his head. No. Actually, he would say like, no, it's not. It's up in the cliff next to the cavern entrance.
How many men are there?
I don't know.
How many have you seen? An estimate at the most at once.
40? Maybe? I don't know.
Were you with Gormundel, north of Nesme?
No.
When did you meet Gormundel?
Never. I never meet this Gormundel.
When did you begin serving him or working under him?
Never.
When did Jason begin serving or working under him?
How long does the spell last? 10 minutes. He'd say, I'm not quite sure. Few months.
Are there any traps or dangers awaiting us, a hostile force,
Yes.
in this lair? What? What are they?
I don't know. I do not know anything.
But you're certain they're there.
Yes.
Is there a back way in? Is there another entrance into the lair?
Just the two I talked about.
The
As far as
door,
I know.
the door on the cliff and one in the cave.
Yes. He's...
And Ulrich looks back to Welkin and says, anything else you can think of?
Welkin just shakes his head.
How well the rest of the men, are they mercenaries? Are they bandits? Where have these men come from? Why do you serve
Around.
Jason? Why do you all serve Jason?
Promised us safety.
And is your primary occupation out here bandits and raiders?
No.
What else do you do?
I was a ferryman.
When's the last time you pushed a ferry?
3 months ago.
And since then?
No.
Raiding? Looting? Stealing? Why the change?
The danger.
Danger from what?
I don't know.
Other than crazy elves. You don't know? Just one day up and decided to become a highwayman? Risk your life? Ferryman's an honest work? Honest day's wage?
It was dangerous. I had to leave.
What was dangerous?
The ferry business.
Fair enough. And what about the rest of the men there? Farmers, ferrymen, craftsmen?
Among other things.
No, not a group of trained warriors? No soldiers? No mercenaries?
Some. Perhaps. I do not know everybody.
Or just kind of nods and stands up and pats the boy on the shoulder and turns to
He winces when you do so.
everyone else and says, there, that wasn't so terribly difficult and vicious and violent, now was it?
Everybody also can really see that he's under a lot of tension.
Mm. Figures you would.
Justice
I'd say
can be
both
done.
methods are valid. Not really I'm a sticker one for rules. We gave him a chance. He refused it. Not sure exactly what you did, but whatever.
I did nothing. Simply asked the gods.
Give me a wisdom save. No, just kidding.
All right. Whatever you say,
Oh,
Ulrich.
actually, yes. Yes, give me a charisma saving throw.
Okay.
No, I mean Ulrich. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Because, right?
Oh, I know. I know.
Well,
Simply the cleaner way. There's no need to have the poor boy, mauled at the hands of some vile elf.
poor boy.
Oh, but if it had
The
been any
murderers.
other race other than a human, you would have had no problem doing it.
He's a murderer.
I have a problem, no matter the race, putting them at the hands of that thing, and he kind of nods towards Hastos.
You mean he's bear?
No.
Well, what are we gonna do with him now?
We'll let him go.
How do we guarantee that he doesn't just run back and let his buddies know we're coming?
We have horses. He'd get there after us if he wants to walk into a fortress being raided, then that's his choice. Or kind of looks back at him and says, "Do you think that's a good idea, son?"
Doesn't answer.
Doesn't even shake his head or anything. Nah. Either way, he can't beat us there. And if he does, then it's his death. I won't spare his life again.
Okay, so what's the plan? Do you wanna camp for the night and go there the other day? Attack them in the night?
And give him all night to get back there? Let's move.
Well, we wouldn't release him until we start moving. We can camp, and then in the morning we will release him, send him off in a direction away from the.
You can just double back and go there.
We will be on horses.
I suggest we're gonna take him with us. Find a place where it is. He can kind of guide us, and then you can send him off.
That is also an option. I'm not opposed to that.
That's what I
And
suggest.
how do we know there aren't other scouts out there? We need to move.
We know there are others.
Well, we only saw Jason sending out one band.
No, he sent out many.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well then,
No, that's not like one band
I
is
mean,
gonna.
it's like noon, a little past noon now. We could get there.
It
before
won't,
nightfall.
it's evenish.
It's evening now.
It's like 5.
I thought it only took 15 minutes for him to do that spell, and it was
Yes.
noon when we started.
No,
So
no, it took you 6 hours until this happens, or 5.5 or something,
6.5 actually.
or 6.5. Yeah.
plus looking for the site and yeah. Makes sense.
So
no,
yeah,
when I
that's-
asked after we caught him
this
what
is
time it
perfect for
was,
us
you said it
because-
was around noon.
that was
After
when
we
you
came
were
back from the corpses and confronted Ulrich and
was
summoned the
like
bear, you said it was noon.
No, I'm pretty sure I said like something like afternoon, but
Yeah. Okay.
I'm pretty sure because anyway, yeah.
They'll be returning, so they won't be looking out for us because at night it's not worthwhile. And we can.
Just sleep without a fire tonight.
There's no need to sleep. I mean, if we're gonna ambush them, I suggest we do it in the night. Alternatively, what we can do is go there, wait, they send the scouts the next morning, and after the scouts are off, we go. We still have
I
less
like-
men.
I like that idea.
Alright, then we
have to
can
find a
just go
good
to
spot
where
to
they
hide
are,
them.
get a good vantage point, and wait for the scouts to return, and then leave the next morning, and when they leave, we can go in. Meanwhile, we'll keep this guy as insurance. Gag him, so he doesn't scream, things like that. Do feed him so he doesn't starve or die of thirst. Or
Yeah, he isn't like he is not very well fed, but he wasn't starving bad.
Yeah, but We have food we can give him some.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we start heading off towards.
Yep. Yeah, with the direction you kind of have, it's easy enough to find the one river that then you can basically follow to here, and you see like you're not as close. As close as this, but you kind of, since you know what you're looking for, it's hard to actually to see the door up in the cliff, but it's super easy to obviously see the entrance of the cave. So you're like 120 feet away when you see this.
We take a side step, go towards some vantage point where you can see this.
You take the dude with you, or you let him go?
No, we still take him.
You
Alright.
take him.
If we let him go, he is just gonna go back to his people now.
Okay. I'm just asking.
Keeping him gagged so he also can scream out, shout out
Yep.
warnings, things like that. And we camp where we have a vantage point to this location, probably somewhere there. I mean, this doesn't matter, but you get it, to the side where we can see this. And
Alright.
set up shop for the night.
Right.
We'll wait for the next day.
Same procedure as usual. Setting up your bubble, tying the horses together,
Yeah.
and your usual kind of pacing with the guards.
Mhm.
Okay.
Ulrich takes a watch that night as well,
Okay. Which one?
whether he needs to or not.
Which one?
Just sometime in the middle of the night, he would.
It's overlapping because it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I mean, you can't see, so we need to have an alpha.
Ulrich would like wake himself up in the middle of the night, and
Yeah.
I kind of
Absolutely.
imagine he's able to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, you could also ask them to wake you. So.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to keep your arm on?
Yes. Yep. Here comes the roll.
Okay.
Ba-ba-ba-bum.
So, other than the usual, is there anything you guys want to especially prepare?
Just cover our tracks here, mainly the
Mhm.
horse tracks. We're not too worried on the path here because that could be the scouts coming back, right? I'm not
Mhm.
too worried if they see them, just to where we are because that would give us away.
Okay. So when you kind of start to set in, actually you can give me a stealth check here, welcome, with advantage, to see how well you hide the camp. All right. Yeah. So you find a cozy spot which gives you like sight. No, you don't have direct sight on the door, but you have sight on the stairs that lead up, and you have direct sight on the entrance of the hall of the cavern, of the cave. And yeah, you basically see in, and in the evening you see like about 15, 18 people kind of returning, heading into the cavern, like in groups of 3, right? So.
Now they'll notice that there's one band missing, but they probably won't think much of it, and they'll maybe send more out. Not sure. Well, guess we see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Aside from that, you kind of bunker down and actually start to sleep. At this point, also finally the rain kind of starts to die down completely, and you're getting ready for the next day. So you don't want to do anything specifically to prepare.
Not sure what everyone else has to do.
All
As
right.
for me, I'm just making sure that the prisoner is. I mean, we have watch, so he's not going to get away.
Yeah.
But
Do you also put him in the?
the dome,
Mm-hmm.
if he fits, sure.
You would, I think.
I tie him to me, just in case, or to my ankle, something like that.
Yeah.
Tries.
You carry him.
He'll carry me if he tries to run away, right?
Just joking, man. Just yeah. All right, but yeah, you start to kind of hunker down and start your watch. Now, Astos, anything you kind of said or wanted to do while you're on your move here, or in your to prepare for the night?
No, just the usual.
Okay, so you have the first watch. All right, about 3 hours into your first watch, everybody else is either concentrating or sleeping. You see that it's really hard to see that far. You're really only seeing any movement because there's a torchlight. A group of people coming out of a cavern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people.
What direction are they coming in?
They're coming out of the cavern.
I'm watching them.
Yeah, obviously you're super low on volume.
I don't know why.
It's really.
Oh, never mind. My headset was up. Sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yes. So you start to see them coming out. They stop at the entrance of the cavern,
Mm-hmm.
and you see two more, then three more, total three more people coming out of the cavern, and they are actually on horseback, which none of the others were before.
Okay.
And then they start to ride off.
In our direction?
No.
All right. I keep an eye on them until they're at a distance. And then when I wake up Callista for her watch, I'll let her know what I saw.
All right. I mean, you see them running away. You quickly lose them as they kind of go outside of the shine of the torches. The guys who who have the torches in the entrance soon after they left kind of turn around and go inside the cavern again. But yeah, you tell Callista what's going on, and she kind of nods and sets up her camp, probably waking Ulrich as well, and telling him as you kind of go into your trance.
Okay, yep, Ulrich just sits and keeps watch for a little bit. Maybe chats with Callista.
Mm-hmm. Anything specific you want to talk about?
No, I don't think they have anything. Ulrich and Callista, I don't know if there's anything to really talk about there. I don't know.
I mean, pick something.
The Fey talk. They talk a little bit about the Fey land that they were in, the Feywild or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Mostly Ulrich griping about it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Callista is.
She kind of tries to say how cool it was, and that's so sad that he couldn't see anything.
And Ulrich fully believes her.
Absolutely. You're not quite sure if she wants to just like fuck with you, or maybe she's like really like interested in that. But yeah. Other than that, at the end of your shift, you see another group coming from. You hear them actually coming from back behind you, going into the direction of the lair. They will come if they continue that route, since you're like sticking to the cliff more or less, and you found like a nook, like a little bit of an indentation in the cliff where you kind of hid. There's a possibility that they find you. It's not like they sure will, since you're like fairly well hidden, but they're coming. They'll come fairly close. And Callista kind of tells you, since you have you just hear them, right? She kind of takes a look, does a not so well job hiding, but tells you that there's a group of 2 people coming your direction.
And we are in the sphere.
Yes, but your horses are not.
Right. All right. Yeah.
Callista kind of says like, "Want to talk them up?"
Yeah, I think we should wake up at least Welkin.
All right.
And I guess we should wake everyone up just in case. Worst comes to worst, they can go straight back to sleep.
All right. She kind of walks over Welkin and kind of slaps him across the face.
Or because I was thinking more slightly more gently, and he kind of
She
shakes
she kind of
Emily.
looks at you and like slaps him across the face to completely wake him up.
Meanwhile, Ulrich's like gently shaking Emily.
What?
Yeah.
What? Welkin kind of gets up, like he's used to this abuse, so he gets like his sword, looks around. What's going on?
Like it's just like there's a patrol or something coming our direction. And Hastos, I mean, you kind of quickly wake from your trance, anyways, right?
Then what are you doing? And I go over and I like try to calm.
And she says this, and you're still like, what? And she just shrugs and she says, hey, I should. He said, like, I should wake you.
They may spot us.
Okay, I go over and make sure that the horses are silent at the moment and
All
keep
right.
an eye on them.
All right, so you go to the horses. Give me an animal handling check. All right. So yeah, you kind of go over to the horses, and they're not specifically loud, but as you go over to them, they're kind of, right? And as you do so, one of the riders that is fairly close at this point, kind of, the Hastos, you would see this, kind of cocks up his ear and looks into your direction, kind of tries to spy anything, but he's a human, so he's really hard to see, and since you're in a crevasse, it's like pretty dark where you are, so he probably can't see anything. Kind of looks into your direction.
And I wait for now because I can't see anything, so I don't notice anything.
Yeah, you're still like a little bit further in there.
I mean, unless they have torches, I don't see anything, right?
No, they're running in the moonlight. As I said, like the rain has since stopped since last.
So
Like
I can see the silhouettes. I barely notice that they're looking, so I just keep trying to make the.
yeah, however, you realize that they stopped moving.
Oh.
So, Emily, Hestos, is there anything you guys want to do? I'm just saying, like, if you start to really do stuff, you break up your long rest.
Just keep watch quietly and see what happens.
What she said.
All right, Ulrich.
Yeah, Ulrich's just sitting quietly, waiting to see what happens, with a javelin readied.
All right. They kind of stand there for a minute, talk to each other in a hushed voice, too low for you to really make out anything. And then they continue, moving further to the direction of the lair, I guess.
I know. Are they going faster than they were before, or just?
They're not running. Like, I mean, it's hard for them to see as well. But they are maybe a little bit faster, yes.
They may have spotted us and they're going to warn the others. Or maybe they're just going back. It's hard to tell from this distance and in this darkness.
I'd say it's likely they're just going back.
I'd say it's good we reposition regardless. Just to be safe.
I mean, you're coming up like 2 hours more than you're finished with your rest anyways, right?
Mm. Yeah, but we could move like 15 minutes back or something like that. And
Yeah, to break your long rest, of course you can, yeah.
it break the long rest?
Sure.
Yeah, if we move the camp, for sure.
Depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, you're not like moving around, setting up camp while you're resting.
Great. Don't you just want to stand here?
I think we just...
The only one who got his long rest yet is Callista.
I think we just finish our rest. In the morning we will... If they come, they come.
I think if they come, we find out soon enough.
Yeah, I mean, if they come, you're in a crevice with no exit, other than the right direction where they come from, right?
That's why I'm gonna keep a watch. Like, if we see them leave in big numbers, we're definitely moving, and I'm gonna be ready. Like, gather my stuff, just in a backpack. I'm not gonna put on my armor or anything. Doesn't matter if we're running. Don't need it.
All right.
All right.
So you guys kind of
I'm gonna watch the entrance.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but so you kind of bed down again. Your cheek still burns a little bit, Vulcan.
From the slap. I swear, if you slap him like 10% harder, it'd break the long rest.
Exactly. Just on the cusp of it. Yeah, but it goes like the last 2 hours happen without any more incidents. So you quickly when the rest is kind of open, you can kind of start to wake up like an hour and a half later, just after briefly just nodding off just a second, and yeah. The sun has not yet come up. It's still so early that it's like 5 or something. You are really just like you don't want to necessarily stick longer around here, right? So.
I suggest we leave the horses here, put on our armor, if you haven't, and get to a vantage point and wait for them to leave with the morning scouts, and when they do, we make our move.
Sounds like a wise enough plan.
We should relocate, though, since now we don't have the camp, we can get slightly closer without risking as much.
I worry about the horses, but if we
With
don't
horses,
leave them
stay
for
here.
too long. Yeah, well, if we don't leave them for too long, a day, 2 at most, they should be fine.
You can just loosen the rope so they have like 10 feet or 10 meters or whatever you
Well,
want.
we also want them to not be found.
I don't think 10 meters matters at this point.
But yeah, just leave them hidden in the crevasse here, as long as there's some grass to eat.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a vantage point, like hiding where I can.
No,
and
you
see
could
what's going
try to climb the cliff that you are on right now, or you could go like 300, 400 yards back into the direction where there's like a little bit more shrubbery around. That directly around this entrances, there's not a lot where you could hide. Otherwise, where you are,
on. If the climb isn't hard, I'll probably prefer to climb the cliff.
it's like if you fall, it sucks. It's like 150 foot high here actually, since you're a lot deeper inside the hills. I mean, the climb isn't hard, but
Screw it, let's go shrubbery. I prefer forests anyway. Just lie down and should be fine.
all right. So you leave your horses.
Yes.
Anything wants to do anything before you do that?
I'm not sure if
anybody-
everyone is leaving because
Anybody has another plan who wants to bring forth?
No, I think it's wise. I mean, we leave the horses tied up. We remember where they are. And how far away? I guess do we know how far away we are on foot from, like, say the cave, if that's the entrance we're looking to get to?
200 yards or something.
Okay, so it's not like a 3-hour.
No. You had watch over the entrance.
Right. So yeah, I think we just leave the horses, and I would prefer to enter at the door up the cliff.
I suggest you stay because we're waiting for the morning scouts to leave, right?
Right.
So stay with
so
the
you're-
horses and
you're
the
gonna
prisoner?
Okay, I gotcha. You're gonna go scout, and then you'll come back and let us know when it's.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can come but stay at a distance away because, I mean, if you're next to me in heavy armor, it's not going to matter how good I hide, right?
Right.
So how close do you want to get to the cave, the entrance of the cave?
Just so I can have a decent sight so I don't miss anyone leaving. Not when I get to,
So that's what, 150 feet, 200 feet?
let's say 200.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as I said, the next hill you could go up is like 400 yards away, right? So that's a lot too far to actually make out a lot of good details. So you need to be closer. So what you can do is, I mean, there's obviously vegetation around, so you would be able to lie down on your chest and hide behind some bushes and brushes.
I pick a particularly thick ones, preferably with thorns, so they would avoid them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you say your allies hide in that bush.
Sure, I can hide in that bush.
Yeah, they will hide behind it, but yes. I mean, Callisto isn't like she's looking at you and it's like, I'm not hiding in the bush with thorns. Are you stupid?
It's the perfect plan. They'll never suspect it.
Yeah, you can hide there if you want. I'm not.
Shreks.
Yeah. Okay. So the rest of you hide out of sight. So as long as you're not like moving around, it's super easy, right? You want to scout? You want to take a look?
Yeah.
Take a peek? All right. So you want to jump in this brush, or you want to go next to it?
I'm not gonna jump on it. I'm gonna carefully like find a position where I can be next to it, right?
All right. Yeah. Sure. Give me a dex check, and staff check.
Naked Dex and
Yeah.
stealth. Oh.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, you kind of go in there. Like it's a little bit hard, and it like
Probably prickles me a little.
yeah, it's like it's not fun, right? I mean, just like it nicks you a little bit here or there, but nothing really. Like it's uncomfortable. So you sit there looking. And after 2 hours, so it's like 7, maybe quarter past. You see the first people kind of starting to leave.
I stand still, and as long as they don't come in my direction.
Yeah. 5 minutes later, there's another group kind of leaving, and they kind of move in the direction where your former camp was.
Great. I hope that they can see that, because it's not like I can get up and shout warning. How many are leaving their direction?
I mean, I assume the rest of you is with Welkin, but just behind the bushes, right? Did I get this right?
Yeah.
Just the horses
Okay.
in the crowd.
Okay, then
Yeah.
then it shouldn't matter much.
All right. So you see them kind of moving that direction, and when they get to you can still see where you came from, where this would be, and they kind of start looking there, and one of them goes in. Let's lose sight of it.
They get off the horses looking there, or just?
They're not on horses.
Oh. Great.
None of the scouts were on horses.
Okay. They could find horses there.
Then another third group comes out, and they come roughly coming into the direction, but they're not really keeping too much attention here.
I say we wait and hope they pass by. If they don't, we have weapons ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the others are behind. They cannot see anything. You're just saying like, oh yeah, there are 3 guys coming. So as they are kind of slowly moving towards you, as I said, you're like 200 feet away, and they're not in a hurry. You see also that the one is coming out, and they start to discuss something.
The 2 groups are discussing something, or is it just?
Yeah. There's one group coming your direction, and they're just really slowly moving into your direction, not like just moving to it, just like roughly, right? And the other group you saw hiding, going towards your horses. One of them came out and speaks to the other 2 that were waiting outside.
Keep an eye on them. Just see if I can get a tone of their discussion.
Yeah, they are, as I said, they're 300 yards away, so you cannot make any details. It's just like they're gesturing and talking. And like as soon as they started, like all 3 head in the crevice again.
Interesting. Not back to the camp. They have back to our camp, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They probably found the horses.
Then we should go and get the jump on them while we can.
We still have these 3 to deal with. Let's wait for them to get closer, deal with them, and then we can jump on the others.
Yeah, the 3 of them come close. They're now they're not coming directly towards. They're then going somewhat going to the direction passed by you. So they would be like 80 feet away from you.
Do I think if I stood still we had a good chance, or is it obvious that they'll spot us when they get there?
It's hard to see. Like you think you're pretty well hidden in the brush, and you're hushing in your voice. So like you're fairly confident in your hiding skill. So it's pretty unlikely that they would probably find you.
Okay, I think everyone should just stand still and wait for them to pass. If worst come to worst, have your weapons ready. That's what I whispered.
Mm-hmm. And you see, like, as they kind of come into like 60 feet or so away from you, you see the 3 of them come out, and they're they lead your horses outside, and they seem to fight with one of the horses that is still there, like back and forth a little bit.
Good enough. It'll still take them a while to get back, so as long as not one of them is running ahead toward the camp, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean that they're starting to lead them back to the camp.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
one of the horses seems to be a little bit of thick-willed,
Mhm.
not really like cooperating as much. The other three seem to be fine. At this point, you also see like the three of them, as I said, like within 50 feet or so of you, and starting with each other, and two of them kind of looking into your direction while the other one talks, and they hide their eyes widen for a second, and they start to draw their crossbows and start to run back now.
Yep, I charge and get up and well, I guess that's our element of surprise. At least some of them got out.
Hey, dude, you rolled an 8 in your stealth.
Hey, I rolled a natural 1 and a natural 20.
Yeah.
Not my choice. Which one came first?
I'm
The
just
dice
saying.
have not been kind tonight.
I mean, if you roll a net 1, I rolled like actually perception checks with disadvantage for them, right? But an 8 is even with disadvantage isn't too hard to beat. So.
Yeah, but not like I know what I roll, right?
No, that's what I said. Like you feel fairly confident in your roll, right? In your stealthing ability. So. Everybody in? No. Actually, I need to roll this shit myself, right? So. Doodle-doodle-doo. Did this back. Yay. Emily?
I gave you my armor class instead of my initiative.
I know.
If only.
I hope it's
Yeah.
Sorry,
better
I'm
than your
starting to sink
initiative.
into the land of Nod.
You just gave Ulrich some nice dreams to have.
All right. Yeah, Hastings, you heard him. Welcome basically like cuss to himself and says charge.
So Hastos gets up from behind the bush
Mhm.
and starts going towards where Welkin is.
Mhm.
What do I see?
You see one group fairly far away with your horses, seemingly starting to lead them back to the cavern entrance. And you see another group about 50 feet away from you, already their crossbows drawn, also starting to run back.
And how many feet did you say they were?
50.
50? 507? Okay. In that case, I will. Wrong button. Whoever's closest in that group.
Yeah.
I will do it at that.
So what are you doing?
So
What are you saying? What are you motioning? What happened?
Hastos went a little closer and stops, looks at the group, makes some motions, some mumbles in Elven, and a beam of light comes from the sky and lands on one of the guys.
Yeah. Actually, isn't it like radius thing? Is it just one person? No, it's a 40-foot cylinder.
Oh, okay. So the group.
40-foot high cylinder, down in a 5-foot radius. 5-foot radius, you would actually be able to hit everyone since they're still fairly close together. They couldn't act yet. If you put it on the middle one, if you want to spare someone, you can. But
No, I'll hit all of them.
all right. Yeah. So this beam envelops them, and you see them kind of screaming out in pain as like some sort of spectral thing leaves their body, and then they just slump down, dead. Anything else you want to do?
No, that's it.
All right. Cool. So the group with the horses now lets the one horse kind of leave and starts to just book it away from you, just like going the other direction, not further towards the camp.
Oh, so they're going back to the forest.
Yeah, just back, just away from you. There's actually no forest here. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and they are like hugely far away, with the one horse just like standing there. The horse they left. All right. Anything anybody wants to do? They're like 200, 250 yards away from you, right? So it's,
Ulrich whistles to his horse to try and get it to come to him.
yeah. Yeah, as you do, like the horse slowly, it's not like running towards you. It's like the one
Right.
horse that is like, slowly starts to move towards you.
So, but
And
they were
then-
not going towards their base, right? So they wouldn't notice of this.
We still need to take care
I mean,
of
there are 3 guys in the open in the front of the whole thing, lying now dead.
That's true.
So if someone is
Ulrich-
watching,
climbs on his horse and goes after the 3 that are running away.
no, okay. I mean, the
Will
rest
they
will
come
not
up?
be able to keep up with you. Maybe Hastos if he wants to.
That's okay.
And
And
they
while
have,
he's doing this, I'll take the way around and get ready to approach their base. Probably I suggest we enter by the tunnel in the water, or the stairs in the front door. Stairs in the front door is probably the safest, amazingly enough.
which one do you want? Like, what do the others say? I mean, Ulrich is already going
Yeah.
away at this point.
Imle.
What? What, me?
Any preference on the entrance?
The less pointy one?
Good. Which one is less pointy?
I mean, the door leads up like some stairs that kind of go left and right and left and right. It's like serpentines, right? And the cavern entrance is like 50 feet wide. However, that 5 feet of it is the kind of river that kind of comes out.
The problem with this is that we know from what we saw that this place is connecting. Then there's this like mechanism that leads down, along with waterfall, correct?
Yeah, we heard running water, so there's
If
3
we go
runs
down here,
to
we'll
it.
have to take that mechanism up, which is like unless we know of other ways, which we don't. So we'll have to search to get up, right? And we know that
We're
the wizard's
assuming that
quarters
that's
are up.
open for us to get into. They could lock it.
I can open it. But the problem is getting up here is going to be a lot harder if they're expecting us. So probably here is the safest. It's also where they let the scouts out, so it's probably where we find the most people, though. Problem is if we get caught on the stairs and they came out of the river, they can like pincer us and we're proper fucked. So I still suggest the cave entrance.
Hastos wasn't with you when you guys did that scurrying, so he doesn't know what's where. So he's just going to follow Welkin's lead.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna decide. I actually don't know which Kalista would go for. So you want to head for the cave entrance?
Yeah, but still staying in somewhat cover. Not as super stealthy now, but just.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot stay in cover if you, at least on your final approach. As I said,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's not a lot of cover.
But we'll be hiking the wall on the final approach.
I have an idea. Which way do you want to go?
The cave?
Okay. So, Hastos, when we get a little bit closer, Hastos stops for a minute, his eyes glow, his hands do blah, 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 blah. And he brings that around the entrance.
Which one?
A fog starts moving in.
Yeah, which entrance?
The cave one we're going for.
All right. Okay, so you guys start to see. You start to get a little bit closer, but then you start to see a fog cloud kind of starting to appear in the entrance and kind of filling it up. So you cannot see in, or they probably cannot see outside, outwards as well. At least from the cavern entrance.
All right, let's go.
Meanwhile, what's happening with Ulrich?
He's chasing them. They have a good head start. They have like a 250, 280 yard head start. So that's gonna take some time. And they actually have more, right? Since also the horse needs to get to him first.
Mm.
So that will get towards next session.
It shouldn't take me terribly long to run them down. You could just wait.
All right, but that's today's session.
Alright. Yeah, I think that's a good spot because if we get in, we're definitely gonna get in trouble. Come on.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What are we kidding?
I don't know.
We always get in trouble.
I have no idea what they are doing after all this.
The plan was not to be seen. The plan failed.
Yes.
The rolls were on point.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah, as usual. Let's start, Dave. What is your favorite moment of today's game?
That one instance where everybody was like, okay, the well can kill innocent people.
Again.
Yeah, that one split moment where we were like,
Okay. Emmy.
Jesus' restraint and not murdering Ulrich. Just
Okay.
that whole like tension between, you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, killed a bear, so that's that. Okay. Louis.
One selfish, so it'd probably be the peasants guy, but let's not go with that. I really like though. I mean, I thought it was really silly, Walking did, but I was like in player, yes, 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 when Estus went to speak with the snake, because I really wanted to know more about the snake, but Walking is just, nope. So, glad we have a... That was a thing. Too bad nothing serious came of it, but I was almost crossing my fingers that...
Too bad?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I wanted his character to die, but like, it's interesting when fun stuff happens.
Okay.
yeah,
I'm
thanks.
not sure what he tried to do. He tried to do something on it and it failed. I wanted to see it succeed, right?
What Jesus wanted to do?
I have no idea what
Okay.
it was.
I don't know either, but... okay. Yeah, last but obviously not least, Ulrich, or, well, Nathan.
I liked our little ambush that we set. That was it was a fairly well put together plan. We executed it well as a team, you know. And then what we do with that is probably going to be, you know, get ourselves killed. But I thought that one moment of us working fairly succinctly and having a strategy that worked fairly well was nice. But we'll see
Yeah.
where it goes.
Yeah, I think you guys need to figure out how to become a team, really. Really badly. But, well. Alright. Okay, that's today's session then.